Good morning, mayong buntag, buenos dias. Good morning, mayong buntag, buenos dias. The threat of the pandemic in our day-to-day living is really challenging. However, we're standing still to fight this and become resilient. With the need to provide effective, relevant, and timely teaching for our stakeholders, we're tasked to come up with ways and means to meet the needs despite the health crisis. Hence, the Council of Deans for Teacher Education in Region 9 came up with a series of webinars that catered to all of our stakeholders with top caliber presenters, speakers, researchers, and moderators. Through it all, we come to today's event, the culmination of the webinar series with simulations on teaching demo. First of all, we would like to acknowledge the presence of Dr. Mario F. Alayon, President of the CODTE 9, together with the officers and board of directors. Dr. Roddy P. Garcia, our very own OIC Regional Director. Dr. Joanne G. Quaresma, Education Supervisor in charge for Teacher Education Program. Dr. Jacinta R. Tan, our OIC Chief Education Program Specialist. Dr. Abelardo Morok, OIC Senior Education Program Specialist. Our presenters and speakers, all of the participants, thank you for being with us. Good morning. To start with our program, let us all be informed with the CHED Advisory 7 via an AVP.
Guidelines for the Prevention, Control and Mitigation of the Spread of Coronavirus Disease 2019 in Higher Education Institutions. Commission on Higher Education COVID Advisory Number 7. The 24th of May 2020. On HEI's operations and work arrangements. In areas under ECQ, MECQ, and GCQ, HEIs are advised to observe the following guidelines.
Suspension of face-to-face or in-person classes until further directives from the IETF or issuance by the proper government authority that the province or city will be under MGCQ. For HEIs which intend to offer summer classes, midterm, and/or mid-year intersession shall only be for the following students: graduating students who need to complete their academic requirements, students whose subjects are scheduled in the summer under the PSG of their degree program, and students taking graduate studies. Only HEIs with capability for full online learning will be allowed to conduct summer classes.
OJT and internship programs foreign and local remain suspended until ECQ, MECQ, GCQ, and NGCQ has been lifted. However, for HEI and NGCQ areas, in-campus OJT and internship programs can be authorized provided there is strict compliance with physical distancing and other health protocols.
The opening of classes for 2020 to 2021 shall be based on the HEI's delivery mode subject to compliance with minimum health standards and the situation on the ground. HEIs using full online education can open any time after May 31st, 2020. HEIs using flexible learning can open anytime in August 2020. HEIs using significant face-to-face or in-person mode can open no earlier than the 1st of September 2020. All HEIs who are using the old academic calendar, June to May, are encouraged to change their academic year and open in August 2020 or later in the year.
HEIs should prepare for the opening of 2020 to 2021 by undertaking the following. Preparation of the HEI facilities to comply with minimum health standards such as mandatory wearing of masks, hand washing and sanitation practices, safe physical distancing, reconfiguration of classroom spaces, provision of markers in public places, prohibition of mass gathering, among others.
Consultation with local health officials and local government units to determine the health situation in the locality, availability of public transportation, and other support services necessary for the operation of HEI. preparation of a contingency or continuity plan as to the precautionary and other health protocols in case there are suspected or confirmed cases. Adoption of a flexible learning strategy or mode in delivering instruction by ensuring appropriate facility delivery system, faculty complement, and student support.
In coordination with local health officials and the local government unit, implementation of any of the following flexible enrollment procedures: online enrollment and payment through remittance services, scheduling of students who will be allowed to enroll on any given day, opening of satellite enrollment sites as practicable, other similar arrangements to limit the number of students allowed at any given time and ensure safe physical distance. Mass gatherings are prohibited. HEIs are prevented from conducting in-person graduation ceremonies and other school activities until the prohibition for mass gathering is lifted. Private HEIs are advised to follow the guidelines of government agencies such as the Department of Labor and Employment as regards to the deployment of its faculty and its staff.
I hope we are all informed with this advisory. At this point, let us all put ourselves in silence and in the presence of our Almighty Father with an interfaith prayer via an AVP.
Dakilang may likha sa kalingat pangunawa, mangyari ang iyong diwa sa langit at sa lupa. اللهم إنك ترى أن هذه القلوب قد اجتمعت على محبتك واتقت على هذه المكان إيمانك وتوحدت على دعوتك فوثق ربيطاتها يا الله وأدم أدها واملأها بنورك الذي لا يخبو واشرح صدورنا بفائد الإيمان بك وجميل توكل عليك واهدنا سبل الوحدة والسلام والصلاح ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار يا الله أنت مستجاب لهذا الدعاء وعليك توكلنا وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين آمين الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر.
In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. God, our loving Father, Creator of heaven and earth, we thank you for your generosity and kindness, and ask that you hear us in times of needs. Make us worthy of your blessing, and keep us from further want. Help us restore our abundance here on earth, so that we may turn more attention to your divine kingdom. Help us become a blessing to our family and others, to glorify and honor your name. We ask this to our Lord Jesus Christ, your Son, who lives and reigns with you in the unity of the Holy Spirit, one God, forever and ever. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Iadya nyo kami sa pagmamataas upang maiwaksi ang lupit at dahas. At samahang lumikha ng pamayanang payapa sa kalikasan kabuhayan, kakanyahan paniniwala.
Before we will proceed to the next part of our program, Please be reminded of the do's and don'ts during the video conferencing. We will have a run through for this. We would also like to acknowledge all the heads who are with us, school heads who are with us. We would also like to remind everyone that we are also streaming via Facebook Live and YouTube Live. To formally welcome us into this virtual event, let us all welcome Dr. Joanne G. Quaresma, Education Supervisor in charge for Teacher Education Program for Region 9.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Engineer Jose Vicente Michael Regalado, for hosting today. Thank you, sir. So, pleasant morning again to each and everyone. Coming to this 12th online conference give me mixed emotions. I am partly excited and downhearted because of what is happening to our world right now. Indeed, it is the most challenging time for most of us. I know that we are all struggling and doing our best to survive. But despite of what we have remained resilient and optimistic, we cannot control what is happening to us. But we can certainly control on how we react to this situation being given to us. It is not a test of ability to adapt, but it is the test of our tenacity. For all those reasons, allow me to welcome you all in today's online conference. According to UNESCO, most governments around the world have temporarily closed educational institutions in an attempt to contain the spread of the COVID-19 pandemic. This nationwide closure are impacting over 60% of the world's student population. Several other countries have implemented localized closure, impacting millions of educational learners. In the Philippines, the aim on achieving quality education is a struggle for many reasons, such as slow internet connection, lack of gadgets, poverty, and the ability of both students and members of the academe to adapt in what we call the new normal. But despite of what we have and what we can be resourceful and creative by making online and offline learning in most schools in the Philippines. We continuously organize webinars like this and trainings to our faculty members to be able to give them all our support, the needs they need during this challenging time. I know that there are shortcomings, but we try our best to make out of the best out of it. We are slowly adjusting ourselves from face-to-face learning and move to the new era of learning, more advanced and technological. As they say, one thing that is constant is change. Change is inevitable. We need to rise and adapt to this change. And together as an academe, we will face this change with head ups and welcome the new beginnings for all of us. So once again, to the Council of Deans for the Teacher Education Program, my colleague in the Commission, other deans, program heads, viewers and listeners via Facebook and YouTube, I welcome you all to today's online conference as we commenced the series of webinars for the CODTE. Thank you and good morning.
Change is indeed dynamic and constant. Thank you for the informative and warm welcome, Dr. Quaresma. Moving on, let us now listen to Dr. Narcisa Bureros, CODTE 9 Board of Director for the rationale of the program.
Good morning, each one of us. Good morning to all of us. The Council of Deans for Teacher Education, in cooperation with the Commission on Higher Education Region 9, is conducting massive preparation in responding to the new normal. We conducted series of webinars to help the teacher education institution in adapting the new trends of delivering the academic endeavors. Today marks the culminating activity, demonstrating the output or the product of the different talk delivered through series of webinars, the simulation of selected teacher education institutions, a demonstration teaching on the application of technology as our new classroom. This activity will provide us with experiences of real events, phenomena, and processes, helping us on how to raise students' interest and motivation in using different platforms. This will help us improve the understanding of complex skills and principles and will will enable us to develop our instructional scenarios where the learner is placed in the world defined by us and help them achieve the desired instructional result. Thank you so much, and once again, good morning to each and every one of us.
Indeed, CODTE 9 is one of the educational backbones in the region. Thank you, CODTE 9. Thank you also, Dr. Bureros. We believe that the rationale you shared with us will give us what will happen all throughout the event. Daghang salamat. To introduce our first speaker, may I call on Dr. Dana Faye Salundagit, CODTE 9 Board of Director.
Thank you, Engineer Regalado. To our Regional CHED Director, Dr. Rudy Garcia. Education Specialist 2, Dr. Jacinta Tan. Teacher Education Supervisor 2, Dr. Joanne Quaresma. Our very own System President, Dr. Dailinda Luz Lapot. OIC Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Alice Arbon. College of Education System Dean, Dr. Narcisa Bureros. Our CODTE President, Dr. Mario Alayon, and officers of CODTE. Teacher Education Deans, Associate Deans, Chairpersons, faculty members, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant morning to each and everyone. I would like to start my introduction with a quotation from Henry Adams, and I quote, "A teacher affects eternity. He can never tell where his influence stops." It is my honor and privilege to introduce our first teacher online demonstrator. He was a product of Gutalak Central School and Gutalak National High School, a consistent honor student, and a class salutatorian, a recipient of multiple awards during his elementary and secondary years. He finished his Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in English at Jose Rizal Memorial State University Tampilisan Campus in school year 2016-2017. And currently, he is in his final stage of his Master of Arts in English at Jose Rizal Memorial State University main campus. A recipient of various awards during his college days. To name a few, he receives the Student Publication Award as Editor-in-Chief, Best Researcher, Cybersound Award, Service Award, and the Teacher's List Awardee with a GWA of 1.55. A passer of the licensure examination for teacher held in Pagadian City last September of 2017. As part of the state university, he is also active in research. He was able to present a paper in an international conference sponsored by the Linguistic Society of the Philippines at the Cock Beach and Resort last March of 2020. Despite COVID-19 pandemic, his aspiration to improve himself as teacher is undenying by participating in various webinars like Global Englishes, Development Issues and Pedagogical Implications by Dr. Fan Gabriel Fang, Intelligibility of Englishes, Exploring Virtual Platforms for Digital Education, National Seminar on Writing for the Campus Paper, National Seminar on Strengthening Campus Journalism through Digital Media, to name a few. He is connected at Jose Rizal Memorial State University Tampilsan campus since 2018 up to the present. Ladies and gentlemen, with pride, our first teacher online demonstrator is none other than Mr. Hereford Ray B. Gibang-Gibang.
Okay, hi, good morning. Thank you, Dr. Dana Faye, for such a great introduction. Okay, so I hope I am clearly here there. And okay, so I will be your first demonstrator for the day. But before starting my demonstration, okay, so just wait for a while. Just a sort of disclaimer prior starting the demonstration. So this is a virtual teaching demonstration simulation. So let us have the new normal teacher-student interaction, okay? So please allow me to use your name as it is in the classroom context. Okay. But before that, I would like to put our presence to the Lord, our Father God, for a short prayer amidst the pandemic.
O Holy Spirit, we thank you for the advancements that have led to improving the health of so many. We beg you to inspire new breakthroughs in overcoming the coronavirus and all serious flu viruses. Protect, we pray, healthcare professionals from the illnesses they are treating and make them instruments of your healing. Amen.
Okay. So once again, as introduced, I am Herford Ray Gibang-Gibang. I will be your teacher in technical writing course from Jose Rizal Memorial State University. Okay. Once an artist said, sa classroom may batas. Same as to here, we also have our classroom rules. Okay, so to name a few, we have here these classroom rules. Even though this is a virtual demonstration or virtual class, still we are going to observe these classroom rules. First, you need to mute your audio.
Saan ako pag-attend atong kuan naman to ni Naomi good akong di po siya matawagan balin si Naomi.
Reiterate, mute your audio. Acknowledged by the speaker or the teacher. Next, turn on your video to show interest. So I will be happy if you are going to turn on your video and I will be seeing you here on the gallery slide. And next, taking your personal necessity, just comment BRB in the chat box. So as you can see, we have the chat box here. Just comment BRB, meaning you will be right back. Okay, so that's your personal necessity, so I will not take that out from you. Next one, active participation is highly encouraged. So though this is virtual class, I am still encouraging you to actively participate. Okay, just comment on the chat box for some questions, clarifications, and for your participation. Okay, so let's start our class for today. I would like to begin the discussion with this such game, which is called fake or factual. Okay, you're just going to determine whether the thing that I will be showing you later on is a fake or factual information. Do you get it? Okay. So I will be giving you maybe sort of 2 minutes to read and analyze the statement here from Queen Elizabeth II, who delivered her message during Hope amid the coronavirus pandemic, as dated April 6, 2020. So please distinguish if this information is a factual information or a fake information. Okay, timer starts now. Okay, so timer stop. So let me read. President Duterte is the kind of leader who knows the way, goes the way, and a strong leader. Filipinos are very fortunate to have him. Seriously, he looks so overworked. He may not be perfect, but he truly loves his country. Philippines doesn't have the worst government, it actually has the worst citizens. So what do you think is the information given here, a fake one or a factual information? Anyone? May I call in Miss Cuvillas? Are you here? Miss Cuvillas?
Hello, good morning. My answer, sir, is this is a fake news.
Yes. What makes you decide that it is a fake news?
Because the terms here are something like contradicting.
Okay. So you mean to say that the terms that are being used here are contradicting to what really happened? Maybe. It's also a good strategy to assess whether the information is factual or a fake information. But fake information. Okay, aside from looking into the source of the information, actually, you can already assess the information by looking at the technical errors. Well, if you can see, there is an error in the statement. It's this phrase, a strong leader. What makes it an error? It is an error because it is a faulty parallelism. Now, mind you, Queen Elizabeth II is a speaker of English as the first language. So Queen Elizabeth, there would be maybe a sort of 0.001% to commit a mistake, especially in delivering a message. So basically, this information is already considered as a fake information. Okay, so by looking at to the technical errors, or yeah, you can already assess whether the information or it is a fake one or a factual information. Okay, so today we will be discussing about faulty parallelism. Now, but before that, I would like to read this and leave it to you. One of the common grammar mistakes that kills your writing credibility is lack of parallel structure. So let's be careful when we share information in the social media. So let's stop sharing. Let's assess first if whether it is fake one or factual information. Because one of the common grammar mistakes that kills your writing credibility is lack of parallel structure. Okay. So today we have these two learning outcomes. You will be learning two things. First, you are going to distinguish a parallel structure from a non-parallel structure. And the second one, you are going to publish a blog observing parallel structures of a sentence in a blogspot.com. Okay. So again, we'll be talking about faulty parallelism. But the question is, what is parallelism? Okay. Parallelism means two or more elements have the same form and grammatical function, or the key term here is proper coordination of ideas. What are these elements that is being talked here? So parallel elements, these are single words, phrases, or clauses that functions as subjects, objects, verbs, adverbial, or adjectival modifier in a sentence. So basically, these parallel elements in a list or series, in a common structure and in comparison. Example, first example. So this is an example of a parallel words. So as you can see, okay, I opened his suitcase from China and saw that it was full of pictures, souvenirs, and letters. So as you can see, the underlined words here are parallel because pictures, souvenirs, and letters are nouns, meaning they go together. There is that proper coordination of ideas. Okay, so words should go with words, phrases for phrases, clauses for clauses. Okay, another example. This is just an example of parallel words. Now let's proceed to an example of parallel phrases. Standing to his left was Lisa with her brown almond eyes, dark straight hair, and bright smile. So basically, I don't want to repeat myself, the difference between phrase and clause. When we say phrase and when we say clause, I've already discussed this one. Phrase doesn't contain a subject and a verb. However, when we say clause, it contains subject and a verb, but does not convey complete idea. Okay? So this example is a parallel phrase because as you can see, the underlined words in a series, the brown almond eyes, dark straight hair, and bright smile are parallel because they are all phrases. And as you can see, and the first word that appears in the first unit of our series, the brown almond eyes, the brown is a color. So basically, the next unit of our series, which is also a phrase, should also start with a color. Dark, straight hair, and bright smile. Okay? Okay, let's proceed to another example of a parallel structure. We are done with the parallel word, we are done with the parallel phrase, and we are now going to have this another example, a parallel clause. He is afraid of getting sliced by the boat, being bitten by a snake, and becoming eaten to a crocodile. Okay, so clauses, as I have said, it has a subject and a verb sometimes, but not all of them. Okay, so as you can see, beaten is a verb, but be careful because beaten here is a past participle. So basically, if you want to have a parallel structure of your clauses, the next unit of your series of clause should also be in the past participle. Eaten, beaten, eaten, and sliced. So as you can see, getting sliced by the boat is the first unit in the series, and being bitten by a snake second. The third one is becoming eaten to a crocodile. So getting, being, becoming are verbs, but in an ing form. So getting sliced, being beaten, becoming eaten. And as you can see, the third word by and the by and the to are prepositions. So basically, as I have said, if you want to have a parallel structure, or the keyword is that there is a proper coordination of ideas, you need to be very careful. Okay, but in some aspect, in oral or in a conversation, it is a bit tolerable. However, in writing, so in technical writing specifically, you should be very careful. Okay, because as I have said, one mistake that kills your credibility in writing is the parallel structure. Okay, so now let's proceed to the next slide. Okay, so what is faulty parallelism? Faulty parallelism occurs when the elements put into pairs and series do not go well together because they do not belong in the same form. So the key word in faulty parallelism is that no proper coordination of ideas. So I have here some examples. So we have here faulty parallelism, and we are going to correct this one. Okay, so I will be calling someone to read and give his idea or correct the faulty sentence here. Okay, so I'll be reading the faulty parallelism first, and we read the sentence again. Hebron's family has 3 boys and 2 girls who are rosy cheeked, fair skinned, and eyes shaped like almonds. So this is basically faulty. Okay, as you can see, we have here the bold faced close here. So that is the faulty one, faulty structure or unit in a series. So please correct this one. I will be calling someone. We have here Miss Labus. Miss Labus, are you there?
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning. Please read first the sentence and give your own correction.
Okay. Hebron's family has 3 boys and 2 girls who are rosy cheeked, fair skinned, and eyes shaped like almonds. Um, I considered the wrong words there is the last phrase, and
Okay.
eyes shaped like almonds.
Precisely, that's the wrong or the unparalleled structure. That is the clause which makes it unparalleled. However, the thing here is that you are going to revise the sentence into a parallel structure. I mean, in a complete parallel structure. Okay, please give your own idea. How will you correct the clause which makes it unparalleled?
Okay, so I will read again, sir. Ebron's family has 3 boys and 2 girls who are rosy cheeked, fair skinned, and faulty and eyes shaped like almonds. So instead of an eyes, instead I will say fair skin with an eyes shaped like almonds.
I
Am I correct?
Okay, let's try to check it if your opinion is correct. Okay, so the correct or the parallel sentence in this example is okay. Let's check. Hebron's family has 3 boys and 2 girls who are rosy cheeked, fair skinned,
An
and
almond, an almond.
almond I, because as you can see, the units that
Okay.
that appear in a series, we have this here. First unit is the rosy, checked.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. Adjective.
an adjective, compound,
Yes, an adjective.
and fair skin. And the third, to make it parallel, it should also be a compound
An
adjective. So it
adjective.
should be almond eye. Okay? So that is just another example. I mean, that is one of the examples. Now let's proceed to another example. Now, correcting faulty parallelism. Always remember that words that appear in a series need to be the same part of speech. So I'm going to emphasize it again. Noun should go with noun, verb with verb, adjective with adjective, adverb with adverb, and the rest. Okay, words that appear in a series need to be the same part of speech. Okay, so we have here two non-parallel sentences. So I will be calling someone again to correct or to revise the sentence and make it parallel sentence. First, we have here the first sentence. Chinese people are known to be compassionate, generous, and are the kindest. And the second sentence, most of my Chinese friends are business-minded and have set goals. So basically, if you are going to listen to it in a conversation, it's actually good. I mean, it's fine. However, in technical writing, again, please be very careful because these sentences are actually erroneous or and grammatically, I mean, it's not grammatically correct. Okay, so I'll be calling someone to check this and revise. We have here Mr. Andrew for the first sentence, and later on, Miss Colisa for the second sentence. See, Sir Andrew, Mr. Andrew, please.
Is there only one Andrew?
Yes.
Okay. Chinese people are known to be compassionate, generous, and are the kindest. So I would rewrite this as Chinese people are known to be compassionate, generous, and kind, or very kind, or whatever, whichever.
Okay, so let's just lay that on the table and we will see or we will check later on if that is correct. Now for the second sentence, Miss Colisa. Colisa, am I right? Miss Colisa, Penelope, are you there? For the second sentence, please unmute. Miss Colisa.
Dr. Kalisaw, sir.
Colisao, sorry. Colisao. Miss Colisao, please unmute. Unmute first. Okay, I guess Miss Colisao is having trouble with the technical, what's this technical? Yeah, yeah.
Yes, sir, I can't read.
Okay, okay. Okay, Miss Colisao, please read and give your revised sentence.
Wait, sir. I can't read because I minimize the letters.
Okay. So
Sorry.
we'll be
Okay.
we'll be calling another one, someone.
Okay.
So we'll be back to you later on. So we have here, Miss Labajo. Miss Labajo, hi.
Hello, good morning.
Okay,
My
morning.
question is most of my Chinese friends are business-minded and have set goals. The
Yes.
correct sentence would be most of my Chinese friends are business-minded and goal-oriented.
goal-oriented. Okay, so we have here two revised revised sentences as according to the faulty non-parallel sentences. So according to Mr. Andrew, Chinese people are known to be compassionate, generous, and kind. And according to Ms. Labajo, most of my Chinese friends are business-minded and goal-oriented. Let's check if their answers are correct. Okay, ta-da-dang. There you go. I guess they got the correct answer, and congratulations. So Chinese people are known as compassionate, generous, and that should be to be compassionate, or it can also be as compassionate, generous, and kind. And there is no need to use a superlative adjective because in the first in the sentence, I mean in the first series and the second in the first unit in the series and the second unit in the series is not demonstrating a superlative adjective. So basically, you just use the original, the kind, okay? So that's correct. Congratulations. And another, most of my Chinese friends are business-minded and goal-oriented. Perfect. So correct. Now, another set of examples. So we are now going to proceed to the phrases. So faulty phrases are coming on their way. So I'll be calling again someone to read and give their revised sentences. Okay, first sentence, when we were in China, we went to Shangchanji, to Beijing, and visited Shan. And the second sentence, you should find time to visit the Great Wall of China, explore the small villages, and appreciate among the locals. Okay, I will be calling someone for the first sentence, the lucky one. We have here, wait, where are the other people? Miss Quaresma, and for the first sentence. And for the second sentence, we have Miss Lucas. Mr. Miss. It's Miss Lucas. I can't really see it here. Yes? Are you there?
Sir, can you call another, sir, please?
Okay. So, may I call again, Miss Covillas. Miss Covillas for the first sentence, and second, for the second sentence, we have, oh, they're there. We have Mr. Lucas. Hello, are you there?
Sir, I
Hello.
will volunteer for the first sentence na lang, sir. Can I?
Okay. Is that you, Jemarie?
Yes, sir.
Okay, for the first sentence, Jemarie, since we have your volunteers and our
Yeah,
first
that
chosen.
it will not take time. Consume, sir. Anyway, I think when we were in China, we went to Shangzhenji, to Beijing, and visited Shan. So if I were to check, to reconstruct or check, I
Yes.
think it would be, instead of using the word visited Shan, I will go for to and to Shan. We went to Shangzhenji, to Beijing, and Shan.
To
And to
Jean.
Shan,
So you
too.
just omit the visited, the word
Too, yeah.
visited.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So for the next
Omit the
second,
word visited and have the word
yeah,
to Shan, to make it parallel with to Shangzhenji, to Beijing,
and
and
to
to
Jean.
Shan,
Okay,
because the
noted.
issue is about parallelism, I suppose. So that's
Okay,
my
thank
answer
you.
for the first
Thank you,
sentence, sir.
Jemarie. Yes, so we will just check that later on. Now for the
Okay.
second sentence, anyone? Any volunteer? Those who have stable internet. Any volunteer? No one?
I would like to volunteer on that one.
Who's that? Please recognize.
Oh, okay. I'm Anicia Alvarez and from Zamboanga.
Alvarez, please.
So, pardon me.
Yes, you may.
Okay. I think my suggestion would be you should find time to visit the Great Wall of China, explore the small villages, and appreciate the locals. And the reason for that is because if you want parallelism, you would look at the verbs to visit, explore, and appreciate. Thank you.
Okay, well said. So we'll check your answers, I mean the answers. So for the first sentence, ta-da-dang, the parallel sentence, for the first sentence, when we were in China, we went to Shangjiangji, to Beijing, and to Shan. That is correct. Chamari got it. And for the second sentence, you should find time to visit the Great Wall of China, explore the small villages, and appreciate the local tradition and practice. It could be or you actually have the right to make your own phrase as long as it is parallel. And actually, Miss Anisha Alvarez is very correct with her answer that if you are going to look into the units in the series, so as you can see, to visit Great Wall of China, explore the small villages, and appreciate the locals. It could also be one of the options. I mean, yeah, one of the answers. Okay, so as you can see, appreciate among the locals. It's not parallel because among is already a preposition among the locals. So it's not parallel with the series the units that appears in the series. As you can see, the first series is visit the Great Wall of China. So the next uh, words after the verb visit is a noun phrase. The Great Wall of China. Then explore the small villages. So the small villages there is a noun phrase. So basically, if you want to make it parallel, after the verb on the third unit of the series appreciate, so it should also be a noun phrase. Okay, so the correct one is appreciate the locals, tradition, and practice, or appreciate the locals. Could also be. Okay, did you get it? So this is correcting parallel, non-parallel sentences for the phrases. Now let's proceed with the clauses. Okay, we only have one question here. One non-parallel sentence. Okay, let me read. For those without the budget or who don't feel safe to ride a plane, National Geographic Travel shows offer data about the different interesting places.
Those without a budget
So as you can see,
or don't feel safe.
it's getting complicated from words to phrases and clauses. Okay, so anyone, any volunteer? Any volunteer? Uh, okay, I will just call someone. How about
Or don't feel safe
Noel?
with it.
Noel Galeza. Would you? Hello?
Can you state the name again, sir? Who is it?
How about Mr. Noel or Galiza?
Dr. Galesa. Doc?
Don't feel safe. He doesn't feel safe.
Okay.
Maybe we can just have Angelo solo, Sir Angelo, instead, because he's from Sindangan. It
Okay.
might be not good.
Mr. Angelo.
Jello is in Zamboanga.
Okay, I guess they are still internalizing the sentence to make it parallel. So I will just give directly the parallel structures of these. Structure of this sentence. Because anyway, we have still set some
Diri ko,
substitution
Ma'am Di. Ay mag-visit ko sa
activities later on, which will let you distinguish non-parallel and parallel structures. Sentences. Okay, so for this non-parallel sentence, it is non-parallel, and I will let you see the parallel structure. So here it is. So as you can see, for those without the budget or the inclination to ride a plane, National Geographic travel shows offer a good idea about the different interesting places in China. So it is unparalleled because it starts with who don't feel safe. Who don't feel safe is not parallel with the first unit that appears in a sentence, the budget. So that's the first unit. So basically, the next one should also be a noun. It's a noun phrase. I mean, it's a noun clause. Those without the budget and the inclination to ride a plane. Okay, so actually, I think you already understood my examples. I mean, yeah, examples and this the concept on how to correct non-parallel structure. Okay, so let's proceed. So sometimes series or list of units also consider some non-parallel structure in comparison or comparing two things. So there are also cases that we commit mistakes in comparing an object to another object or a thing to another thing, and it's actually sometimes it's non-parallel. So as you can see, making Italian pasta is easier than to make Chinese dim sum. It's actually fine when you're going to listen to it. However, it's actually parallel or non-parallel. It contains non-parallel structure. So to make it correct, we have here making Italian pasta is easier than to make. I mean, than making Chinese dim sum. So yeah, it's making because as you can see, the first unit that appears in the list is making. So it's an ing form of the verb, making Italian pasta. So basically, the next unit that appears in the series is also an ing form, making Chinese dim sum. So making Italian pasta is easier than making Chinese dim sum. Okay? So I guess we are done with how to correct the faulty parallelism in words, phrases, and in glosses and in comparison. Now, always remember when writing a list, every item starts with the same type of verb or noun, adjective, or adverb format. As I have emphasized a while ago, noun should go with noun, verb with verb, adjective with adjective, adverb with adverb, and the like. Okay? Okay, so here are some tips on how to correct faulty parallelism. First, First, look for long sentences. Those are often the ones that have a lot of ideas that may not be written correctly. So mark those to reread and check. For the second one, look for list in your sentences. So circle first the words. Are they the same type of verb? Noun or adjective? So that's it. Look for list in your sentences. If your sentences have list or series of units, so basically try to recheck it. Okay. The third tip: read your paper out loud. Ask someone else to read it, because if you stumble when reading a sentence, chances are that sentence isn't written as clearly as it could be, and may have faulty parallelism. So if I were you, read your paper out loud, ask someone else to read it. Okay? So for our last activity, so I have prepared here a game which is called Bloody Crayons. What makes it bloody? Because behind these colors contains mysteries which you are going to solve. Okay? So you are just going to pick a color and you are going to solve the mystery behind the color. Okay. May I call someone to pick a color and solve the mystery? We have here Mr. Andrew. Yes, Mr. Andrew. Mr. Andrew.
Sorry, I'll go for blue.
Blue? Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, let's go with blue. All right. Here's the instruction. For each non-parallel sentence, replace the underlined portion with the choice that creates a parallel structure. If the sentence is grammatically correct, you just have to choose no change. Okay? So we'll give you time and just hit it when you are ready.
No change.
No change. Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
Okay. Color friend. Okay, so let's check. You need to understand how the Americans think, behave, and react. And the correct answer is, congratulations. The answer is actually letter C, or no change.
Good job. Good job, Andrew.
Please explain. We are not yet done. Explain your answer.
Oh, because the three words are all verbs. Thinking is participle and serves as a noun. Thoughts also a noun, and then I would go for change. No change.
Correct. So as you can see, yes, thinking is a verb that functions as a noun, and thoughts is also a noun. And so as you can see in the sentence, we have here a series of verb: behave, react, and basically the answer should be think to make it parallel. Good job. Good job, Andrew.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Okay, let's have another one to choose a color. How about how about Miss Penelope? Are you ready now?
Okay, I'm ready because
good. That's
first
nice.
time I did it, I minimized so I can't read. So my favorite color is red, actually.
Your favorite color is red. So let's.
Yeah, let me try.
Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Congrats! You are safe.
Oh, you see, it's not bloody anyway.
Bloody, yes, you are safe. So I will just. You're safe for this time. So we will call another one. I mean, someone to choose another color. How about Mr. Noel? Mr. Noel, are you there? Mr. Noel Gileza? Would you like to pick a color?
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
I choose blue.
Blue is already, it's already picked by Mr. Andrew. So we only have the pink, the yellow, and the white colors.
Yellow.
Yellow. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Yellow, there you go. Instruction for each non-parallel sentence, replace the underlined portion with the choice that creates a parallel structure. If the sentence is grammatically correct, you just have to choose no change. Okay? So I will give you time if you are ready. Ready?
Okay. Permission to read first the given example, sir.
Yes, you can.
There are two ways to do business in China. Approach an investment committee or associate recommendation.
Yes.
Let me think first.
Yes.
Get
Okay.
an associate recommendation. Uh, to get an associate recommendation, no change. Investment committee or associate recommendation. I choose no change, sir.
No change. Are you sure? Is that your final answer? Risk your
Get
life
an
with that answer?
associate.
Just kidding.
Get an associate recommendation.
Yes, which is which?
Just wait for a while, sir.
Yeah.
Associate committee or get a letter A, sir.
Letter A.
Letter A. Or get an associate recommendation.
Okay. So the correct answer is actually letter A. Very good. Got it, Mr. Noel. Because
Thank you, sir. Um, I just not, I just don't know what is the reason behind, sir.
you don't know.
Feel
Okay.
ko lang, sir. Feel ko lang letter A.
Trusted your instinct.
Kasi masarap pakinggan kasi.
Okay, so instinct sometimes it's reliable sometimes, but not. Okay, so let's check. Actually, the answer is letter A. You are correct. Get an associate recommendation. The reason behind, as you can see, the first list in a series starts with a verb. Approach an investment committee. So basically, the next should start also with a verb. Get get an associate recommendation. Okay, investment committee is a noun phrase, and associate recommendation is also a noun phrase. However, in the first list in a series, first unit in a series starts with the verb. So you should also start with the verb, and you are correct. Get an associate recommendation thanks to your instinct. Anyway, so let's proceed. So we have two colors left. We have the pink and the white. Any volunteer? Any volunteer? How about Chorla? Chorla, Miss Chorla Napikit. Are you there? Yes, Chorla. Chorla, are you there?
Hello, hello. Excuse me, Hereford. I'm attending another conference from Deep Ed.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm attending a conference from Deep Ed for high school.
Okay. Okay. How about Miss Penelope? Since you were safe last time, so we have two colors left. So we will just have last one color.
Okay, next red is actually pink, my favorite too.
Pink.
Let's try pink.
Pink. Okay, pink. Mm-hmm. Are you ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you are safe. Oh, just kidding.
Oh.
Okay, same instruction for each non-parallel sentence. Replace the underlined portion with a choice that creates a parallel structure. If the sentence is grammatically correct, you just have to choose no change. Okay, we'll give you time to think and give your answer.
Wait. Sentence construction, you should be very sure. Once you are away from the main cities or tourist resorts, you will need to be eating, travel, and move side by side with the Chinese. So
the answer
you need to eat. You will need to eat, travel, and move. Letter A.
Letter A. Final
Yes.
answer?
Yes.
Is that your final answer?
Yes.
Okay, that's your final answer, and congratulations because your answer is correct.
Yes, because to eat, travel, and move are all birds.
Okay, very
And eating on B is a gerund.
correct. Okay, so your answer is correct. To eat, travel, and move. So basically, those are verbs. However, as you can see, to here is also underlined.
Yes.
But always remember this. There are also words that once they appear
in the first series or first list in the sentence, they can be omitted on the second and the third and the following. Those words are actually the to and the by. So there's no need to put another to for the to travel and another to for the third unit to move, because it will also violate the rule of redundancy. But it's actually tolerable. However, if you are going to be technical also with the redundancy, the rule of redundancy, so you should omit as long as it appears in the first list in the first unit in a list or in a series in the sentence. Okay? To, so it could be to to eat, travel, and move. And that's the correct structure in the sentence. Okay.
Thank
So
you,
my
sir.
now, thank you for your participation. Now we will proceed to the recap. Again, I'm going to emphasize this one. Nouns should go with nouns, verb with verbs, adjectives with adjectives, adverbs with adverbs, phrases with phrases, clauses with clauses. Okay, some words are omitted after appearing the first time in the series. Now, as I have said, some words are omitted after appearing the first time in the series. The by and the to. Always remember these words. By and to can be omitted as long as it appears in the first first unit in the list or a series in a sentence. Third one, in a parallel clause, tenses should also be congruent. So as I have said, clauses have verbs, so tenses also should also be congruent to make it parallel. Okay, it doesn't mean that it is already a verb, then you don't care with the tenses. Always remember that one. You make it congruent also. If it is in the past participle, then it should also be the past participle, the next or the following. Okay. Now, why is it important? Because it improves fluidity of sentences. So it is important because it improves fluidity of sentences. It also emphasizes the likeness of ideas, and it creates balance in writing, and it adds credibility to a writer, as I have said. Okay, so today I want you to have this pre-writing activity. So it's for the remaining time. First instruction, it's a free writing, so you can write anything. Okay, first instruction, on the chat section or chat box, write or list any ideas about fake news. Okay? Second, do not concern yourself with spelling or punctuation. Write anything, as many as you can. Your goal is to generate, as I have said, as many as you can about the topic in short period of time. So I will only give you, I think, we only have 2 minutes. Wait. Okay, it can be done for 30 seconds. Okay, again, on the chat box or chat section, please write any ideas about fake news and do not concern yourself with spelling or punctuation, because the goal here is to generate as much as we can or as you can about the topic. Okay, so are you ready? Did you understand the instruction? Anyone, please put a thumbs up. Thumbs up. Did you understand the instruction? Okay, if you understand the instruction, please, someone would like to put a thumbs up. Okay, so 30 seconds starts now. Fifteen seconds left. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and time's up. So stop writing. Okay, so let's proceed. For your assignment, make use of the output from your pre-writing activity in organizing your 2-paragraph blog about the topic fake news. So number of words is unlimited. So as you have done earlier, the free writing, you will use that one as your reference for your pre-writing activity. So in organizing your 2-paragraph blog, then you need to sign in to blogspot.com and publish your output. Then send me the link through our Google Classroom today. So I will be showing you the blogspot.com. So here, so you just sign in to blogspot.com. It's a free app. I mean free web. So you can post your blog, anything. So just post it here and give me or send me the link in our Google Classroom. Okay, in our Google Classroom, I think I have given you the code. Okay. I mean, I will be giving you the code. So not just that, you are also going to collaborate with one of your classmates by posting comments on each other's blog, specifically about parallelism today. Okay. So the class code is EZDA3D. Okay. But we are not yet done because you are going to assess yourself. This is an assessment for your free writing activity. So you go to our Google Classroom and answer the checklist regarding on your free writing activity. So I have posted there the checklist for you to check your output in the free writing activity that you have done. Okay, so after answering the checklist for your final output, so the instructions, after I have checked your output which contains suggestions from your chosen classmate, you delete your first blog and you revise it. Okay, there is that revision. You delete your first blog and you revise it. Then publish until tomorrow morning the final blog containing the complete revision of your statement about the fake news. Okay, publish until tomorrow morning in the final blog containing the complete revision of your statement about the topic fake news. For the rubrics, anyway, don't worry. I will be sending you the copy of this PowerPoint, a soft copy of this PowerPoint. I will be uploading it in our Google Classroom. You can visit it for your reference. Okay. For the rubrics, we have here three criteria: understanding, compliance, and number of parallel sentences. So very good, good, fair, and poor. For understanding, the blog contains no faulty parallelism. Compliance, the output addresses all the required tasks. Number of parallel sentences, the output contains more than 5 parallel sentences. So just visit the rubric. As I have said, I will be uploading this one in our Google Classroom. Okay. So before ending the class, I will be leaving you with this quotation that I have made regarding on our topic, which is faulty parallelism. So here it goes. Writing is like railroad tracks. Forms are parallel. Okay, so that would be all. Any questions will be entertained later. That would be all, and God bless. I hope you are fine, and good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Ayan. Muchísimas gracias, Sir Herford, for the informative, interactive, and fun-filled demonstration. We are confident that through your demo teaching, many will be up to date. Daghang salamat, sir. We look forward that all of this information be applied by our faculty members from the different HEIs in our region. Before we will proceed to the next part of our program, please be reminded that if you have any question or suggestion, you may send them through the comment box in this platform. And for those who are watching us through FB Live and YouTube Live, you may also type in your questions in the comment box and our presenters will answer them later during the open forum. Thank you. Again, we would like to acknowledge all the participants, the CODTE 9 officers and BODs, the education supervisors from Cheddar 9, and all the school heads. Welcome and good day to all. At this point, may I now call on Dr. Gilbert Celesio, CODTE 9 Treasurer, to introduce to us our second online demonstrator.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Allow me to greet greetings from St. Columban College, Managdait sa Tanan. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
I am very proud to present to you our second teacher demonstrator for today's CODTE conference. Our second teacher is a graduate of Bachelor of Secondary Education, major in General Science, as an academic scholar at Mindanao State University, Tawi-Tawi College of Technology and Oceanology at Bungaw, Tawi-Tawi in 2002. He also finished his Master of Arts in Education, major in General Science, as BSU Deep Ed Scholar at Bukidnon State University, Malaybalay City in 2015. He also earned units in Master in Public Administration at Misamis University, Osamis City on March 2020. He completed the academic requirements for his PhD in Science Education, major in Biology at Bukidnon State University, Malaybalay City. Our teacher demonstrator has been invited and involved in the different trainings conducted in the Department of Education, and to mention some of his active involvement, he was one of the research presenters in 2016 during the Research Caravan and Basic Education Research Fund paper presentations. A resource speaker in the division training workshop on action research and data analysis in 2016. Was recognized as the best research paper in the area of quality education during the first Regional Research Congress in Deep Ed Region 9 in 2015. A resource speaker on lesson planning and daily lesson log, and a demonstration teacher during the regional training for in-service training on inquiry-based approach for teaching science on October 2015. My fellow educators, our second demonstrator is a Master Teacher 1 of Zamboanga del Sur National High School, Department of Education, Pagadian City Division, and one of our part-time instructors in St. Columban College Graduate School Program, handling MAED Science Program. Ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to introduce to you our second teacher demonstrator for this morning's conference. Please welcome Mr. Matthew T. Sapasales.
Okay, good morning, participants and all the deans of the different. Can you hear me? May I see a thumbs up if you can hear me? Thank you, Sir Bert, for that short introduction. As for this time, I will be presenting to you a lesson on biology, and here are some of our objective for this particular lesson. Can I share my screen? Okay, once again, good morning, everyone. Good morning, participants. For the lesson objective that we're going to have on this lesson on biology, we will be learning about virus. So the first objective is to describe the nature of virus. Second is to explain the replicative mechanism of virus. And the third one is to enumerate the steps of the replicative cycle of virus, particularly the lytic cycle and the lysogenic cycles. So to start with, I would like to share with you one particular application in an online application. This is what we call padlet.com, and I would like you to try this. And I will be pasting here in our our message box the link. But before that, I would like to show you first a short video about this particular virus. So please watch this for a while, and later on we will have the Padlet. Before I continue the video, can you hear the music or the sound of the video? May I see thumbs up?
No sound, sir.
No sound?
No sound, sir.
Okay, I will try to stop first my share, and I'm going to click on the computer sound. Can you hear it now?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Please watch this one for a while.
Dili naman, kundi na sa college. Si mami ani lantang. Kaya to.
Okay. Are you still there, friends?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to ask some few questions regarding the video that we have just watched a while ago. So anyone who can actually share your thoughts, what do you think is the video all about?
Yes, sir. Dr. Kalisaw?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Doc Caliso, can you share to us your thoughts about the video?
Yeah, the video depicts of a simple plane travel that one person has been infected with the virus and it has been spread easily as fast as it is. And once the other foreigners have been going to their places, the same thing had happened. So as they reached the countries, they infected their families. But at the end, the frontliners are there. And you'll notice that with a helping hand, each respectively is able to solve how to protect and be aware of the virus. There's always a hope. That's it.
Okay, thank you, Doc Pen, for that wonderful idea that you have just shared to us.
Thank
so, Doc Pen mentioned to us about the virus.
Yes.
So, the main idea is that the virus has directly spread all over the world with only on that particular, just one particular travel. So how about the others? Do you have any other thoughts, any other angles from the video that you have just watched that you can share to us, so that we can actually have that as our point of discussion? Anyone? Any other uh, participants who would like to share their thoughts?
Sir, it talks about.
Yes, you're recognized, Dr. Ann.
At Dr. Ann Quaresma or Dr. Ann Alvarez?
Dr. Ann Alvarez. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh,
You're
okay.
recognized.
Thank you. The video has given us an insight into how the virus can be spread. The example in the video is only through one means, and that is in an enclosed environment like an airplane. So the video shows how the virus can be carried by some passengers and transmitted to others as they, not only within the enclosed environment, but also when they disembark. And the video shows that the people from one airplane going on into other airplanes will treble the contamination of the virus. Then, as people reach their homes, they start contaminating to their home environment, and from the home environment, the neighborhood, and finally, you have contaminated people in the community.
Yeah. Okay, interesting. Thank you, Dr. Alvarez, for that wonderful idea. If we will try to look at the statement of Dr. Alvarez, she mentioned about contamination, no? Contamination. So if we will try to look at people around us, many of us really have probably some knowledge about virus, but what is this virus really are? No, how can this particular virus infect individuals? So this will be the lessons that we will be trying to understand for this particular period, and I would like you to have this lesson objective. No? The first one is we will try to describe the nature of virus. So we will try to understand what makes the virus so contagious, what makes this to contaminate individuals, and we will get sick. No? Secondly, we will try to explain the replicative mechanism of the virus, and we will try to understand and enumerate the steps so that perhaps this would eventually lead us to understand the steps and procedures on how we could actually go away from being contaminated or being or getting sick from these viruses. Okay, so this lesson that we are going to learn is actually very timely because we are actually on the midst of this pandemic, the global pandemic due to the COVID-19. So many of us really have probably little knowledge about virus or deeper knowledge on virus, but for those who have few information about virus, they tend to go astray and would not follow some particular strict rules because they do not know what virus are. So this could be a good chance for us to understand the mechanism and the technicalities of these viruses. So I will be posting in the comment box a certain link, and I want you to click on this link. Try to click on this link and give your answers to the questions which are actually being posted on this particular application. This is somewhat like a website. This is called padlet.com, and I would like you to try explore this with this particular session that we have, and I wanted you to asa naman ang kuan ani ang message box for a while. Message box.
Click on Zoom.
It's under the screen, sir, and it is in the chat. The chat box.
Zoom.
It's under the screen, sir, and it is in the chat. The chat.
Okay, here it is. So please click on this particular link and try to give your answers to the 3 particular questions specified on that particular Padlet.
Sir, we have not received any. Can
Sir,
you
where
send
is
it
the
again?
link?
I have already posted it on the
in the chat box.
In the chat box,
In the
ma'am.
chat box? Okay.
It's not here.
I don't see it, sir.
Can you paste it again, sir?
It was actually on the account.
Make it to everyone, sir. Send
Baka
it to
you
everyone.
send it only to one person, sir. Send
Ay,
it to all.
sorry.
Na
Send it
private
to
siya,
all.
sir.
Okay, that's it. There it goes.
Okay. This one, sir, Bitly.
Yes, ma'am. Bitly Padlet virus.
Okay.
Got it.
Yes, it's here. Not distributes to everyone.
Yes, ma'am. Bitly Padlet virus. And when you enter into that particular Padlet, you can already see 3 particular questions.
Miss Carigor, dun muna kay umano, kay last na ito. Hindi ako maka-transfer, Pero 10:30 pa lang man daw. Viral reflection Padlet. What do you know about the virus?
The virus is deadly. Okay, very good. Can you see on the screen the responses?
Yes, sir. Yes.
The responses from the participants? The virus is maybe it's also good that you are going to have the title as your name, and within the comment below you are going to give your answers so that we can identify the person who have actually submitted the post. Any other participant who would like to join with answering these 3 questions? The first one, what do you know about virus? Number 2, in what way do you think virus will infect people? And the third one, is it possible that the person infected with the virus will not get sick?
Bing, saan pa ako mag-answer?
Just click the plus sign there on the
Yes, ma'am.
portion.
Click on the plus sign below.
We are encouraging everyone to please write your answer now and please off your microphones. Thank you.
So, maglalagay na. Mag-answer. Saan ako magtatay? Dito.
On the screen that I have shared, you can actually see in there the posted Padlet among the different participants. But the problem here is that in the title, it would be more better if you are going to indicate your name on it, and on the bottom of that particular title, you're going to have your answer so that we can identify the owner of that particular Padlet. The virus is contagious. Okay, very nice. What is this virus really are? Okay, interesting. We have here an answer. The virus cannot be seen with our naked eye, and the virus can weaken people's immune system. Is it so? Is this particular idea agreeable to everyone? No, you can actually interact if you would like to interact. No, you can eventually see the responses. So, are you going to agree that the virus can weaken our immune system? We have here viruses are non-living matter that contains either DNA or RNA. They only manifest the ability to replicate. If they infect the host cell and uses its machineries, the outer coating of the virus made of fats. Okay? Is that agreeable to everyone also? If no precautionary measures will be taken, everyone will be infected. Okay, that could be a good idea also. So you can just actually post some of your your responses there, and perhaps we can move on, and we will try to address all of these particular issues about virus. Okay. So at this point in time, I will allow you to perform a short activity. This is a short activity. This could be interactive in nature because you are going to really give your answers to this. Okay, so I will be sharing an activity sheet, and in that particular activity sheet, you will try to click on 3 particular links. Those links could be uh, is actually a link for a certain website that actually has an interactive material wherein it would eventually teach us the nature of the infectious cycle of the virus. Okay, so in the comment box again, I will be posting uh, another link. So please look again into the comment box and try to have the link for your activity. This will then serve as our activity sheet. And you can actually submit this to me through my email later on. Okay? Can you see the link already posted in our chat box? That's bit.ly virus interactive SCC. Makita ba sa tanan ang ato ang link? Can you see the link?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Please click on the link and follow the instructions into that activity, a short activity, interactive activity, so that you will be able to understand viral infection, the lytic cycle, as well as the lysogenic cycle of the virus. Understand viral infection, cycle, and as well as the lysogenic cycle of the virus. Okay, have you seen the activity sheet? Anyone? Can I see a thumbs up if you have already seen the activity sheet? Can you click on those particular links, the viral infection link, lytic cycle link? Have you seen it? Okay, have you started working out with the activity? Anyway, this is just for simulation.
Flash is blocked. We cannot access. Adobe Flash player is blocked.
In that case, ma'am, you're just going to click on that particular icon on Adobe Flash so that the interactive material will try to operate in your system. Click into that, ma'am, so that you will be prompted to allow the Adobe Flash to be accessible into the browser. Just click on that particular Adobe Flash icon, ma'am. Is that addressed already, Dr. Ann?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, have you tried the interactive material? Yes, that's the problem. Actually, Sir Andrew, we have some particular connections will really be a problem on activities like this. But laban lang kita, sir. Ma'am Virginia, I think you don't need to download. Yes, you can download, ma'am. You can download the activity sheet, but you cannot download the interactive material.
Sir Matthew.
Yes, go ahead. You're recognized, ma'am.
Just for clarification, so we're going to download the activity sheet, then that's the time that we will answer, sir? Is that it, and we will submit?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Actually, for simulation's sake, maybe you can just actually look into the material para dili na lang punta madugay kayo, ma'am ba?
Okay po. So we're going to put the answer na lang, sir.
You
in the chat
can
box?
Not anymore, ma'am. You can just actually send it to my email. So my email is this one. You can look into the chat box again.
Okay po, sir. Okay, taken po. Thank you po. I already have viewed the link for this video. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay po.
Okay, shall we move on?
Okay po, yes, sir. Okay.
Have you seen the email address that I have? I have already posted it in our chat box. You can submit your output there. For a few minutes, you're working out with the activity. A matter of around 10 minutes, perhaps, or 15 minutes, you can do that activity and submit it on yoyang0703@gmail.com. Okay? So this time, I would like to share again my screen to everyone, and we will try to watch a summarized video about the nature of this particular virus. So please look into the video once again.
Thanks to CuriosityStream for...
Before that, can you hear the sound?
Yes, sir.
And can you see
Yes,
already my screen?
Yes,
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So shall we start? Pay attention now to the screen.
Supporting PBS Digital Studios. The earth never shook beneath their feet. We've never found their remains in the rocks. and by some standards, they're not even alive. They're just bits of protein and genetic information that might give you a sniffle for a couple of days, or worse. But they're also proof that even the very smallest things can have an outsized impact on the history of life. I'm talking, of course, about those tiny genetic burglars that you have been asking about for so long, the viruses. There's no fossil record of viruses in the conventional sense. They're just too small and fragile to be preserved in rock. But there are fossils of viruses of sorts preserved in the DNA of the hosts that they've infected, including you. And yeah, I mean, me too, to some extent, I guess. But this molecular fossil trail can help us understand where viruses came from, and how they evolved with the rest of us. And it can even help us tackle the biggest question of all. Are viruses alive? The key to the virus's success is their simplicity. In general, they consist of a bit of genetic information, either DNA or RNA, wrapped in a capsule of protein. Many are small, of course, on the order of tens of nanometers, while others are surprisingly big. But they all rely on infecting some sort of host to reproduce and survive. We think that viruses have been around as long as life itself, partly because they can infect all forms of life: bacteria, archaea, eukaryotes. And because they're so simple, some scientists think that they evolved alongside or even before the earliest cells. But without real fossils, how can we know the history of viruses? Enter the science of paleovirology. This is a young field within paleontology because it's built on another emerging field, genomics. In order to look for traces of ancient viruses, experts have to study the genomes of their hosts. It makes sense when you think about how viruses actually work. Viruses have to infect a host cell to access the machinery that it uses to replicate its DNA, and then hijack that machinery in order to reproduce, which is like, when I say it out loud, such a scumbag move. The host cell is forced to manufacture new viruses, which then leave and look for new hosts to infect. Except, the viruses and the host don't always exactly part ways entirely. Sometimes the genome of the virus can become integrated into the DNA of the host. And as long as it doesn't cause a mutation that damages the host cell, that bit of viral information may stay there indefinitely. And if this happens in a cell that forms sperm or eggs, then the viral genome can actually be inherited, passed on to the host's offspring with the rest of its genome. So in this way, the viral genome becomes a sort of molecular fossil. And those ancient bits of viral information can also shed light on how old viruses are. That's because ordinarily viruses change really quickly. That's why you have to get a new flu shot every year. A virus mutates so fast that after a few hundred years, not much of the original genome may be left. However, if that DNA is integrated into its host, then it can only mutate as fast as the host does. And since hosts reproduce more slowly than viruses do, their mutation rate is slower too. All this means that the viral gene will be preserved, though not perfectly, for way, way longer than a virus that's just floating around out there on its own. Now, scientists can use this to help figure out the age of virus fossils. And they do it the same way they study the evolution of other genes, by lining up comparable sequences from different organisms and comparing them. If a sequence of viral DNA is found in two different animals, then they probably both got it from a common ancestor, and that means the virus has to be at least as old as that ancestor. So for example, circoviruses are a group of viruses that are known to cause stomach problems in dogs. And scientists once thought that circoviruses had been around for less than 500 years. But traces of these viruses have been found in the genomes of dogs and also cats and even pandas. So the viruses must date back to before those mammals last shared a common ancestor, which might be as much as 68 million years ago in the late Cretaceous period. So what's the oldest evidence of viruses? Well, one study in 2011 looked at the history of brachyviruses, which specifically infect wasps. And it found evidence to suggest that the group these viruses belong to could be as old as insects themselves, dating back to the Carboniferous period, 310 million years ago. But other research has brought the history of viruses even closer to home. Research in 2009 dated a gene found in mammals called CGIN1 to the early days of mammal evolution, between 125 and 180 million years ago. And that gene is thought to have originally come from a virus because parts of it resemble a type of RNA virus called a retrovirus. And guess what? You're a mammal. So some retrovirus infected a sperm or egg cell in one of our mammal ancestors millions of years ago, and now a gene derived from it is in you. And again, yeah, probably me too. Scientists don't think this gene has much of a function, but they do think it's just one of many examples of how viruses have left their mark on our own DNA. In fact, it's been estimated that 8% of the human genome includes sequences that originally came from viruses.
Okay, I would like to cut this short. For simulation's sake, I will just have to move on to the next part of the lesson. Anyway, this is just for our visual on how the lesson will be run through, the flow of lessons, of the lesson. Okay, so this time, I will be sharing to you some particular details of the virus and the idea on virus. So please, may I have your attention? So in the definition, virus really are organic entities. This in the term virus is actually taken from the Latin word virus, which means poison. So it's an organic entity. Simply, it's very simple that it only contains genetic material and a protective coat. A protective coat which could either be made up of protein. So the term virus was first used in 1890s to describe agents that really cause disease. So they are actually disease causing, but were smaller than bacteria. So by itself, a virus is a lifeless form. But within living cells, if they can actually penetrate into a living cell, they will eventually perform life function such as replication and reproduction. So the replication process of the virus within their host, their target host, will harm the host. That is why the host will get sick. Viruses lack any reproductive machinery. That is why they are only dependent on their target host. What are some of the natures of viruses? So we will try to describe this time the nature of viruses. So all viruses have same basic structure. Basically, there are only two major structures that we can find on a virus. Genetic material, it could either be DNA or an RNA. So that's a nucleic acid. And the second one is actually a protective coat. So some particular viruses have specialized enzymes inside their capsid. So this particular capsid is actually made up of protein. So this actually protects the nucleic acid. So that's the major structure. So whatever viruses that we can find around us, in majority, we can only look into two major structure: a genetic material and a protein coating. But some particular viruses have a certain envelope. This envelope is made up of lipid. For example, the major cause of the pandemic that we have today, the SARS-CoV-2, this is actually the second SARS coronavirus. It's a coronavirus, the same as with the SARS that we have before. But because it's the same structure, they have this lipid envelope. That is why if we will try to listen to the instruction given to us by the health agencies around the globe, according to them, it would be easier for us to destroy this protein envelope of the virus by mere placing the virus in a soap, a detergent. Diba? If you happen to see a lipid or an oil placed on a plate and you are going to drop a portion of detergent into it, the molecule of the closed molecule of this particular lipid will be broken down into pieces. That is why it's very good to really use detergent in destroying the SARS-CoV-2 because it has a lipid envelope. So here are some particular structures that we can find in some other virus. For example, we have here a plant virus. Virus actually has a very specific target host. It cannot actually invade other host cell. So for example, in this particular virus, this structure, a helical capsid, it has a helical capsid, and the DNA, it's made up of a it's not a DNA, an RNA. It's a nucleic acid made up of ribonucleic acid, which is actually inside this particular capsid. It do not have an envelope. But the target for this particular virus will only be plants. We also have here another example of virus. This is an animal virus, adenovirus, and the structure of its capsid is actually icosahedral in context. And you can find in the inside of that is the nucleic acid made up of deoxyribonucleic acid. We have here another virus also. This virus is what we call bacteriophage. This bacteriophage is a virus that actually infect only bacterial cells. So ang iyang target host, only bacteria lang yun. Dili siya pwede target host ug lain nga mga cells. We have here another animal virus, an influenza virus. This one is an example of an flu virus. Its helical capsid is there. You can find it there in the inside, the helical capsid and the RNA over here. And it has an envelope. So you can see the envelope. That is why kung maghunaw lang gyud ta, magbungkag yun siya, it's made up of lipid man. Virus are obligate intracellular parasite. So they cannot actually be considered living material because they do not actually exhibit life characteristic outside a living host. So they are obligate intracellular parasites. So they need a host. And host range from different types of organisms. It could be an animal, it could be a plant, or it could be an insect, or even bacteria. We also have tissue tropism, types of cells infected. Viruses can remain dormant or latent for years, and they are just actually can be found almost everywhere. No? So more kinds of viruses exist than organisms. So to our common idea, to the common idea of the community, we hardly thought that we tend to believe that viruses there are only few viruses around us. But in reality, we are actually surrounded by many viruses. But you know what? It's not actually that harmful because some viruses would not actually invade or make our human cells as their host. Some of the hosts that they are targeting are non-humans. For example, mga plants, mga animals. Okay, so that's the nature of virus. In classifying virus, there are actually many methods. So the first method that we actually have is the Holmes classification method. In this method, there are only three groupings. Group 1, katong ang iyang i-attack mga bacteria. Ang group 2, katong iyang i-attack mga plants. And the third group is katong iyang mga host target are animal cells. The second method of classification is the Baltimore classification. And in this method, they actually classify viruses according to their nucleic acid. So natay mga double-stranded DNA ng mga viruses. Ang tawagan na nila mga adenoviruses, herpes viruses, and pox viruses. And we also have single-stranded DNA viruses. A DNA which is actually single strand. Then the third grouping on this classification method is that this virus has double-stranded RNA. So reoviruses ang tawag po na nila. So the third groupings. The fourth group is a virus that possess single-stranded RNA. So ang group 3, double-stranded RNA. Ang group 4, single-stranded RNA. The fourth group is a negatively charged single-stranded RNA. Then we have the sixth group, single-stranded RNA. And we have the last grouping, we have the double-stranded DNA and retrovirus. So that's actually the Baltimore classification based on the type of nucleic acid it possesses. The third classification method is the ICTV, International Committee on Taxonomy of Virus. And in this particular method, they actually group viruses according to 6 particular orders. So natay, it is the same as with classification of other organisms that it's actually on level. The order level is subdivided into families, and family are subdivided into subfamilies, and subfamilies are divided into genus, and genus into species. So this ICTV method have actually identified 6 particular orders. We have the Caudoviralis order, the Herpes viralis order, the Mononegavirales order. We have the Nidoviralis, the Picornavirales, and the Timovirales order. And still, the same as with the Baltimore, they actually group virus in this particular scheme according to the type of DNA the virus possesses. Okay? So if you are going to look at that, but they are actually in order and in hierarchical level. The fourth method is the LHT system of virus classification. And in this particular method, they based on the chemical and physical characters like nucleic acid. So there are two major groupings on this particular LHT system, the DNA viruses and the RNA viruses. And they also base it on the symmetrical structures of their capsid. No? For example, helical or icosahedral. In terms of viral replication, viruses can only reproduce inside a host cell. So outside, they are actually considered non-living. They do not perform life characteristics. They are metabolically inert virions. So sometimes we call them virions. And the virus will hijack the cell's transcription and translation machineries to express their genes. So we have the early genes, the middle genes, and the late genes. So in the process of this viral replication, when they are going to already put the genetic material inside the host will be tricked of thinking that these particular genes are actually essential to the cell. So they will actually manufacture the genes into proteins, but later on, the structure that will be produced will not be essential for the cell, but viral structures. And it will eventually end in assembling into a fully mature virus, and there are lots of them inside the cell because of the replicative mechanism also of the host cell. They will occupy the entire cell, and later on they will be released, damaging the host cell. So this is the very reason why the target host will eventually get sick. So for example, one particular virus can infect one particular cell in our body, just the same, for example, in the case of the SARS-CoV-2, the target host cell for the SARS-CoV-2 that causes the disease called COVID-19 is our pulmonary cells, the cells in our lungs, which possess that receptor called ACE2 receptor. So these particular cells will be damaged, making the entire individual to get sick of COVID-19. So with this idea of the replication process of virus, it's not really the intention of the virus to destroy the target host, but it's just that they wanted to replicate. And along that replication process, it leads into the destruction of the cell, making the owner of that cell to get sick. So most viruses come into simple shapes, helical, icosahedral, and some viruses are complex. So we also have even T pages, no? So these are images of some particular shapes of virus. For example, this one is a bacteriophage. The bacteriophage are viruses that invades bacteria. So if we will try to imagine the size of a virus, try to look into these eukaryotic yeast cells. I think you're familiar with yeast. And we have here a certain bacterium, Streptococcus, and we have here another bacterium. So if that is the size of a bacterium, all of these viruses here are very, very small. And we even have some protein that is actually also harmful to us, and a DNA that is harmful to us, considered part of the viral structures. So that is how small viruses are. So they can even occupy thousands of them in a bacterial cell or in a red blood cell, and even hundreds of thousands within a red blood cell, totally damaging the red blood cell. So there are also viruses that invade red blood cells. So viral genomes vary greatly. Most are RNA viruses, are single-stranded. So dito na sila mo replicate sa host cell. So I will just cut this short for some other discussion, but the most significant discussion that we have is the lytic cycle or the infectious cycle of a virus. So inani jud ang pag-invade sa virus. The first stage is what we call the docking stage, or there are also some other terminologies used in some other books. Okay. So it's a viral attachment. The virus will attach into the host, the target host. Then the virus will insert. So this is the so-called viral entry. Insertion. Then as soon as the genetic material is already inside the host, synthesis will follow. So the ribosomes of that particular host will synthesize the genome of the virus and eventually become viral components. And some viral components will assemble into a mature virus. So dili siya ingon nga diretso gid siya automatic nga mapurma dadayon ang virus, but sa viral components will assemble pa dito sa sulod sa host cell. And release will happen, and in this particular release, the virus will exit and look for another target host. While there is also this particular lysogenic cycle. In the lysogenic cycle, virus integrates into a cellular genome as a prophage. So what does prophage mean? So prophage is actually the DNA of the virus will be integrated, will fuse into the DNA of the target host. And it will remain dormant there. Wala siya mahitabo niya, so that the host cell will not be damaged. So maybe you have heard about this particular people nga dili siya, it actually do not actually exhibit symptoms, no, kanang ilang gitawag og asymptomatic patients. Maybe you have heard about asymptomatic patients. So this could be an explanation as to probably, but in reality, more studies should be conducted, and there are yet few particular articles that or researches that speaks about the details of this process of some asymptomatic patients that we have. Our researchers, biology researchers, are still trying to look for answers to these questions on asymptomatic cases. Because, for instance, the lytic cycle is directly when you will be infected with a virus, supposedly you will get sick directly. But why is it that there are some particular instances that asymptomatic patient will be observed? So probably this could be the issue, no, lysogenic cycle being followed, wherein the target host will not be damaged, but later on it will trigger the symptom when the host cell will eventually try to correct the damaged genome. So here are some diagrams that we can look into the lytic cycle. For example, now if you're going to look at this phage virus, and this one is the bacteria, the bacteriophage is the virus, will be attached into the bacteria, and it will deliver the DNA. So managhan siya dito, then the release will happen. So this is the lytic cycle. But some instances will take place wherein the red, can you see the red genome, be integrated only to the genome of the bacteria without actually allowing the bacteria to be damaged. So walay damage na itabo. So the bacteria can still replicate, managhan siya dito, and the integrated viral genome to this particular host genome will also be replicated, managhan po siya. But later on, there could be a probable triggering factor that might allow the bacteria to detect problems on its genome. So when that happens, mahibaw-an diri karon sa bacteria nga naaday na-integrate nga mali nga mga genome diri nga dili iya. So if that happens, it will lead into the synthesis. And so pwede siya nga mahitabo nga mag-dormant lang siya for several period of time, and later on kung ma-detect na siya sa cell, diha pa mo activate. Then diha na dayon ang damage mahitabo. Symptom will take place in the lytic cycle. But here, there will be no symptom in the lysogenic cycle. So that's the difference with this lytic and lysogenic cycle. So here are some particular examples of virus. For example, the HIV that we are actually, we have heard already that's actually very dangerous. The target host cell for this particular virus, the human immunodeficiency virus are actually our, munang hadlok kay siya kay ang target niya is our helper T cells. Kung saan nito mga helper T cells, these are our white blood cells that will protect us from invaders, no? Something that will invade our body. That is why it's very dreadful for an individual to acquire HIV kay ang iyang target host kaya ato ang defense. Muna nga mas delikado jud kayo siya nga makakuha ta na. Wala na dayon tay defense, mga hurot ato ang T cells, ato ang white blood cells. So the same is the process. There will be insertion or the so-called endocytosis, and it will lead into replication and assembly and then budding or release. Yan na nagyapon ang process nga itong ma-experience sa akuan. This is the HIV virus, makasulod na siya, then mag-replicate siya dito sa sulod, and a new virus will be formed. And madamage ang atong white blood cells. Okay, so I will just cut this short. So this will be a lecture type on the flow of the lesson, wherein I will be introducing concepts of influenza. We have emerging viruses today, and one of the emerging viruses is the Ebola virus, and we are still constantly studying this. The SARS is actually the severe acute respiratory syndrome caused by a coronavirus, the same coronavirus which causes the COVID-19. Muna gitawag siyang SARS-CoV-2. Kani siya cause aning SARS kay katong SARS-CoV-1. And aside from the virus, we also have prions, the proteinaceous infectious particles. And this will be, these are actually protein material. Wala siya DNA, but it still could allow the host to experience disease. For example, the mad cow disease. We have the scrapie in sheep. So these are actually diseases caused by proteins. And aside from that, we also have virions. And virions are actually RNA molecules that actually cause disease also among plants. No, for example, sa coconut. So these are actually the discussion part. And if you have some questions, you can raise so that we can address that one and we can eventually understand the details of virus. So do you have any questions? Anyone who would like to raise some questions regarding the virus? That in that particular part of the lesson flow is the inputting, the teacher's inputting.
Sir, is the question and answer part of your lesson, or are you asking question now?
Yes, ma'am. It's part of the lesson, ma'am. Okay. Would there be other participants who would like to raise questions? So that we can really simulate what will happen really on live class.
Sir, what do you think of the coronavirus, sir? Is there a possibility that this will end in a year time, a year from now, or two? What do you think? What can you say?
In that case, Doc Ann, I think with regards to the normal procedure on producing a vaccine, I think the nearest would probably be next year, January. As far as we know, leading up to today is the one being introduced to us by the Russians. I do not know if that is really acceptable by the World Health Organization, because as far as the World Health Organization is concerned, Russians did not actually undergo some particular trials to this clinical trials to these vaccines. Okay, so any other questions? So in the lesson flow, that's the question and answer portion, and the teacher now will eventually give the evaluation part. The evaluation part is composed of a Google form. So I will be again sharing to you another link, and please look into this particular Google form. And this is directly, as soon as you are done submitting the Google form, it will automatically be submitted to the Google Drive of the teacher. So in the comment box, I would like to paste again another link, and this will then serve as the assessment period. Is actually a takeaway. So I want you to click on the, can you see the links? The link that I have actually posted?
Yes, sir.
Please click on the link. You will be brought into a Google form, and you are going to give your takeaway on that particular Google form. Your significant learning on the things that we have actually done in the lessons on virus. Okay? Have you tried clicking it on?
Yes, sir. Bakit may age talaga, sir, ha?
Nasa age bracket lang man pud, ma'am, di man jud siya mahibaw-an. Okay? Any more few questions regarding the Google Forms? That is actually our assessment, our takeaway. Wala na?
I think there's none, sir.
Okay, if there is none, then I wanted you to search on I want you to decide unsa man jud ang virus. Is it beneficial to us or harmful to us? Before we end. Is it beneficial or harmful?
Harmful.
Is it really solely harmful? Harmful ba gyud siya tanan?
If it's a bacteria, then it could be helpful.
Would it be possible also that virus could be make use in the technological field?
Interesting.
Anyone who would like to share? Based from our discussion, all harmful. It really depicts disease.
Ma'am Kwan, representative from
Kinsa to? You're recognized? Okay, that's it. So for your assignment, I would like you to search on the advantages of virus in various industries, in medicine, in agriculture, and in genetic engineering. Okay? So you can actually search that in the internet. Please focus more on the advantages of viruses. So it's not really solely in the next lesson that we are going to have, we will be learning the advantage also of the virus. So if for this time we have seen virus as an infectious agent, probably in the next lesson that we will be learning, we will get to understand how we manage to make use of these viruses. So that will be your assignment, that will be your homework. You can actually submit to me your answers to that to my email or perhaps to our Google Classroom. So that's it. That ends the lesson. Thank you very much for going through the lesson on virus. I hope I have actually shared a little with everyone. That ends. I would like to give the chance now for our moderator to continue.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Sir Matthew, for that enlightening demo. I believe that what you imparted will be beneficial to everyone. Daghang salamat, sir. Again, we would like to remind everyone that if you have questions or suggestions, you may send them through the comment box in this platform. And for those who are watching us through FB Live and YouTube Live, you may also type in your questions in the comment box, and our presenters will answer them later during the open forum. Thank you. Next in our program is the introduction of our third online demonstrator. And to do this, may I now call on Dr. Penelope Colisao, our CODTE 9 Vice President.
Good morning. I'm very pleased to introduce our third speaker. Our third demo teacher for today is very versatile and gorgeous, I should describe her. She is an alumna of Ateneo de Zamboanga University from her degree in BS Ed, major in mathematics, and graduated cum laude. At the same time, she took her Master of Arts, major in mathematics at the same university, and completed her PhD in science education, major in mathematics at the same university. So perhaps 1 year from now, she is a full-fledged doctor. At CSCMST, she was actually the former professional education program advisor, former CSMST director for admission. Currently, she is the active program advisor of the same BS Ed Mathematics of the College of Education Liberal Arts, and currently our director in the Center of Continuing Education, Zamboanga State College of Marine Sciences and Technology. With pride, the young and vibrant Johnny Sarina P. Amora. Welcome, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am. Thank you for the introduction. So let me start. So we have only about 30 minutes for my demo. So let me share my screen. Okay, so for this online class simulation, what I will be doing is, this is good for the program BS Ed Mathematics. The course title is Plane and Solid Geometry, wherein the topic for today is, or the intended learning outcomes, our ILO, is at the end of the lesson, the students can give an overview of the history of geometry, name, describe, and draw models for points, lines, and planes, and define and illustrate the following terms: collinear, coplanar, non-collinear, and non-coplanar. So here are the do's and don'ts for our class. So, we suppose you are already second-year students. This course will be given to second-year students taking BS Ed Mathematics. So these are the do's and don'ts for our class. So make sure you are in a quiet area where you will not be interrupted for the duration of the class. Do not multitask on the same or different devices while using the Zoom. Turn off or silent all other applications except the ones we need for our class. We dress and act appropriately, and we are mindful of what appears on the camera behind us. Sana hindi nakakatakot at nabibigla tayo na may sumulpot na ibang tao. And then try to set up your computer in a neutral space that avoids distractions. If you may, please turn on your video feed. So if this is a regular class, I will ask my students to turn on their video feed. But for this, it's okay if you want. And please also mute your microphones unless you would want to talk or if you want to speak. Please also make use of headphones and microphones. Okay, so we will be using this later on, using our Zoom application. So how to annotate? So if you try to see on the topmost portion, so actually I did the screenshot a while ago while Cesar Matthew Sabales was talking. So you could see there, click the view options and then there is annotate. So you can now write, draw, or you may now do anything on the shared screen. So maybe I will be asking you later on to do it. So how to request remote control. Later on, I will ask you to also do or manipulate the screen. So how to manipulate the screen, click view options and then request for remote control. But before you're going to make use of my screen, you wait for me or the one sharing the screen to accept your request. And now you may already manipulate the screen, the keyboard, or the mouse. Okay? So let me start my online class simulation. So good morning, class. I'm Miss Amora, and you are supposed to act as second year students. So if you do not like to talk, you can answer. You can please do not use first year annotations. You may use it later on. Okay. So let me now proceed. Let's go to our first topic. Let's go to a brief history of geometry. Okay, so the brief history of geometry, it came from the Greek word. Geo means earth and metron means measurement. So meaning geometry is earth measurement. It's a branch of mathematics concerned with questions of shape, size, relative position of figures, and the properties of space. If you are asking, why is our topic like this? It's just an introduction for second year students. So this is a brief history of geometry. Class, I gave you a self-paced module last time. I asked you to look for the phases of the following and try to determine how they were able to, how they are able to help geometry or how geometry existed because of them. So let's start. Let's try to see. So the first one, ancient Egyptians. So we start with the ancient Egyptian. Geometry started when one of the pharaohs wanted to tax farmers who raised crops along the Nile River. So to be able to compute the correct amount of taxes, so they created measurement so that they will be able to measure the land that they are cultivating. After that, ancient Egyptians and Babylonians make use of geometry for practical solving everyday problems related to measurements and shapes. Okay, and then we have Thales of Miletus. Thales of Miletus, why do we name them according to the place of birth? Because actually, when during those times, we do not name them according to, they do not have family names. Say for example, Thales of Miletus is from Miletus. So say for example, me, I'm Johnny of Tetuan. So that's how they do it then. So Thales of Miletus went to Egypt and brought about or studied regarding geometry. So he studied about similar triangles and then he brought it to Greece. One of his students was Pythagoras. Pythagoras is known for what? Anyone? Is most famous for? Yes po?
Pythagorean theorem.
Sir? Sorry?
Pythagorean relations. A plus B squared plus B squared equals C squared.
Okay, so it's famous for the formula for the Pythagorean theorem that will solve for the side or for the length of the triangle. Okay, for the length of the sides of a triangle. Okay, so accordingly, Pythagoras has a Pythagorean brotherhood. This Pythagorean brotherhood is like his we call it now, anong tawag natin dito ngayon? Fraternity. It looks like a fraternity, but it's more on logical in nature. Okay? So, let me continue. So, Pythagoras, and then we have Euclid of Alexandria. So, Euclid of Alexandria was the father of modern geometry. But he is known for his 13 books, The Elements. So actually, Euclid is our father of geometry. But actually, he did not do anything, or he did not develop anything for geometry. What he did was to compile the different topics related to geometry, which we are now using until today. So that is Euclid of Alexandria. And then we have Archimedes of Syracuse. Okay, so he is, what was his famous word? Anyone? Anyone? What was his famous word? When he was running around naked because he was able to discover something.
Eureka.
Thank you, sir. That's Eureka. Okay, what's the meaning of Eureka, sir?
Got it.
Okay, very good. I got it. Okay, that's Sir Andrew. So let me continue. So we stopped with we stopped with Archimedes of Syracuse, and then now let's have a in short or in summary, ancient Greeks are using geometry for the purpose of learning, thinking, and reasoning. On the other hand, ancient Egyptians as well as the Babylonians make use of geometry for practical, for measurement, for shapes and size. So that's the difference between the two. And now let's try to become geometricians. Okay, class. Why do you think are manholes round? Anyone? Anyone? Why are manholes round? I would like you to think like a Greek and connect it to practicality, which is an Egyptian, okay? Anyone? Why are manholes round?
Force in the center, stronger. I guess.
Yes, sir, Andrew?
I was saying maybe the center, whatever the force, like it's concentrated force, like in the center.
Okay, it's sister is more on the physics side, so the force is in the center. How about its shape? Why is it not in the form of a square? Although there are some, like here in Zamboanga, we have a square-shaped manhole. But how come it should always be round? Anyone? Or let me call names.
I can answer that.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
The round shape of manholes is significant because when you use the cover to cover the hole, the cover cannot fall off as compared to when you have the square manholes that I see around. So when it is round, it's really safe and it's really foolproof. It will not. When you step on it, you will not fall.
Okay. Was that Ma'am Anisha?
Yes.
You're correct, ma'am. You can now be hired for Microsoft Word, Microsoft Office. Okay. This is one of their questions when they ask someone who would like to go to Microsoft or work at Microsoft. Okay. So the reason behind is if you are going to make use of squares, the diagonals are fitted in such a way that when you flip it, it will just fall off. Compared to circle, the diameter as well as the circumference of the circle will not fall off when it is in that position. So if you try to see here, this is an example or a video of that. So however it flips or what, it will never fall off. So next, here, why are honeycombs hexagonal in shape? Anyone? Why are honeycombs hexagonal in shape? Hexagonal, six-sided. You may make use of our annotation. Sorry. You may make use of our annotation if you would like to. So why is it in a shape of hexagon? Sorry, my drawing. So here, why is it in this shape? Let me try another one. Why is it not in circle or why is it not in triangular form?
Can I give it a shot?
Yes, ma'am, go ahead.
Well, one, for me, it's the aesthetics of the shape. it's beautiful, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Six-sided, and it gives it more, well, it gives it more structure, but at the same time, I feel that as part of human nature, as part of nature, it's the beauty that goes with it. That's my thing. But you know, that's not from a mathematician point of view.
Yes, ma'am. That's okay. That's okay, ma'am. Okay. So how about the others? Why do you think
by,
honeycombs are hexagonal in shape?
by God's design.
Sir?
God's design.
Po?
Designed
Sorry.
by God.
I cannot hear you well, sir.
God's design.
Okay, it's God's design. Actually, it's nature made or God made. But why do you think God made it hexagonal?
To get hold
For
of
stability.
the queen bee's eggs and store the pollen.
Ma'am?
So that it can hold the queen bee's eggs and store the pollen.
Okay, it could hold the queen bees. How about circle, ma'am? It can also hold the queen bees pollens or anything. Why not circle? Why not triangle or sphere?
It uses less amount of materials to hold the most weight. So
Okay, it uses less amount of material. So if you try to see, if we make use of triangle, imagine you are the bee and you have a round shaped body. If you are going to enter the honeycomb in this way, you try to see it in front of you. If you try to look at it, this one is okay. But on the other end, how can you fit in on the other triangle? Okay, so we cannot make use of triangle as honeycombs. How about circle? Okay, so you can fit in with circle. I'm sorry, let me look for here. How about circles? Let me draw circle here. Okay, if I have circles, okay, circles. If you try to see the circles, there are spaces. So masasayang lang yung spaces.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is why, that may be the reason why God made honeycombs hexagonal in shape, almost circular, but all of the what you call it, there are no extra spaces. Okay, everything takes hold of. Okay, so that is geometry in real life. Okay, so you were acting like geometricians. You were able to express yourself logically. At the same time, you are looking at the practicality of shapes and measurements. Okay, let me proceed, class. Sorry if I'll be calling you class every now and then. Okay, so let me proceed. So our next topic is on undefined terms. These are terms which cannot be defined but can only be described. So these terms serve as basis for defining other terms. Can you give me an undefined term? Not related to geometry. Can anyone define to me time? Anyone? What is a time?
Time is the only thing. It's the only thing that is constant.
Okay, that is a description, ma'am, not a definition.
Oh, okay. You're talking
Okay.
of a definition.
So I'm asking for a definition. Others?
Okay, let me see. It's a term which cannot, what's that?
Cannot be defined, but can only be described.
Defined, but can be described. And this term serves as basis for defining other terms.
Yes, ma'am.
Cannot be
defined.
Now, but you're asking for a definition of time.
Yes,
you
ma'am.
Describe time.
Time is an example of.
You cannot describe time, but I can describe it because I said time is the only thing that is constant.
Therefore, time is an example of undefined term because you just described it. You were not able to define it.
Huh?
Can you give me another example for an undefined term? Anyone? How about love?
Oh.
What is love?
That's even harder.
So love is also considered to be an undefined term. It's just a description, but you can never define it. Okay? So in geometry, we have three basic undefined terms. The first one is a point. So if you try to look at it, class, you are second year students, and this lesson is being taken up by elementary students. We are just having a review, okay? So point is a position in space. It's dimensionless. It has no length, width, or thickness. So when you name it, you make use of an uppercase letter, okay? So this is an illustration, and real life representation, nunal. Nunal is an example of a point. And we can also have salt grain. Anyone, another example. Just give me one so that we can have it faster. Others? Hello po.
What about space?
Ma'am?
What about space? Can you define space?
Actually, it's also part of the undefined terms, ma'am.
Okay. So
Yes.
my answer is correct?
Yeah, one it's one of the three.
Yes, ma'am.
You're ahead, Ma'am Annie.
Yes, ma'am. Let's talk about points first, ma'am. So do you
Okay.
have any real life representation of a point?
Train stops, bus stops, and any stops.
Any landmark.
Okay. So you mean like destination, sir? Okay, so that's correct. So we have from Sir Andrew. So we have next one. Again, this is just a brief review because you have discussed this a couple of times when you were in elementary and high school. So we have the line. It's composed of a set of points. It has length, but it has no width and thickness. And if we're talking about Euclidean geometry, lines are always straight. Okay, so when we talk of lines, it should always be straight. How to name it? We can make use of 2 points on the line, or we can make use of a single cursive lowercase letter as the one shown here. So if you try to see, the name of this line is, it could be what? Anyone?
Point A. Point
Line AC.
Okay, it could be line AC.
A.
Line, what else?
What is it? Is it letter L? Line L?
Line L.
This is cursive. Therefore, you can make use of this as one. It's not a point, actually. The points are only A, B, and C.
If it's a line, is it part of it? Or
Yes, ma'am. It's not a part of it, ma'am. The whole line itself is called
it's
L.
like that.
Okay, so line L. Okay, correct, ma'am. Thank you. And then for real life representation, we have wire and string. Okay.
Who is the guard there?
And then we have the next one, plane. It is composed of a flat, or it's a flat surface. It has 2 dimensions, or 2D. It has length and width, but it has no thickness. So we make use of 3 or more points found on the plane, and we make use of either a single cursive uppercase letter. For this one, it's plain P. Okay? Real life representation will be bond paper, plywood. Anyone? Another example?
Ceiling.
Ceiling. Okay, so that is our 3 basic terms, or basic undefined terms. We will not be discussing space because we will be discussing it later on. Okay? So let's have an activity. Our activity is what we call PLP. Okay? Any one of you here knows how to play pants?
XOX.
Pants, ma'am. Place, animal, name, things, and score. So it's a game we play. We're in, say for example, if I will tell you, start with letter S. So you give me an example of a person or a place that starts with S, an animal that starts with S, a name that starts with S, a thing that starts with S. So may nakalaro ba ng ganun? Ninyo po. So pants po yun siya. Pero for this game, we are going to have it PLP. Okay?
Points,
So
line, plane.
okay, points, line, and plane. Say for example, I will tell you to give a letter, or I will give you the letter S. So an example for point is stars in the sky. An example for line is sling. An example for plane is sheet. Okay? Gets po ba? students.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. Got it.
Got it? So let me wait, sorry. Sorry, nawala siya. Okay, there it is. Bakit to nawawala? Sorry po. So here, do not be shocked if meron, I cannot go to my, sorry po. Wait lang po ha. Okay, I'm looking for my breakout session. Okay, here. Do not be, wag kayo matakot if ever I will be assigning you to a room. This will be just be fast kasi wala na tayong oras. So you will be 10 persons inside a room. Okay? So this will be your groups to play the activity. So here,
It's breakout.
yes po, we call it breakout. So your group mates will be the one together with you in the breakout room. So just accept once there is a accept breakout room. I will be opening the rooms now. Okay. So remember our activity. If I give you the letter, you give me an example that starts with that letter. An example for a point, a line, and a plane. Okay. Assign a secretary. The secretary will be the ones to write the answer. Okay, and will be passing to me the answers next meeting. Okay, so I'm opening the rooms now. Please go to your breakout rooms. Let's just have a try on it. Okay, please accept your breakout rooms. Everyone, not all of you yet went to your breakout rooms. You're not yet joined to your breakout rooms. Every po.
Okay, John.
Please go to your breakout rooms po.
Kindly click join, dear participants, so that you can go to the breakout room.
Yes po. Or accept the breakout rooms. There is like a message to accept the breakout room. So we'll just have a try on it for 2 minutes.
Hello, Sir Herford, Ma'am Annie, Ma'am Marilyn, Ma'am Esther.
So you're all in your breakout rooms now. So let me so the rest are not yet in their breakout rooms. Hindi kayo nag-breakout room. Okay. So for the rest, we did not try the breakout rooms. That's okay. We just have it a try. We are now closing all the breakout rooms. So we're done with our activity. So for the rest, we're in their breakout rooms. It's closing in 13 seconds. Okay, so we're back. Everyone is back. Is everyone back?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so that was a breakout room. Okay, so you can do your activities for students for grouping using the breakout room. Okay, let me continue. So here, so we will be talking about collinear points, and then let me have it pass, coplanar. Okay, so again, we are going to make use of the CC, but this time we are have it collinear, coplanar, and coplanar points and coplanar lines. Sorry if I'm doing it fast because as I have seen it's already 12 o'clock. Okay? So is it okay, Ma'am Jo?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Anyway, I think they get the idea of how it
yes, ma'am. So let me continue. So here, let's try this one. So we have relationship between points, lines, and planes. What I would like you to do now is to help me answer this question. Through any 2 points, there is exactly how many
One line.
lines?
One line.
Can you show it to me? Why is your answer one line? You may make use of your annotation. Make use of your annotation. Okay, who is the one writing? Who is the
Me.
one writing? Mr.
Lagi lagi ko
Click, ma'am, the annotation.
Okay, click on annotation and then you may draw. Okay, so where are the points?
You can actually change color. Change
Where are
color.
the points? It's just a line, but I haven't seen points.
I'm kind of skeptical.
Okay, so who answered this one? Who answered this?
I guess it's me.
Okay, that's correct, Ma'am Jo. Okay, so through any 2 distinct points, there is exactly one line. Okay, so let me remove or clear the screen. Let's go to the let's go to the next one. Okay, if 2 lines intersect, then they intersect at one point. Prove
One
it
point.
using a drawing.
Okay.
Drew, this is fun, Drew.
Okay, so where is the point? Okay, so sino po ang nag-drawing ng marami na masyadong drawing? Marami na masyadong scores? Okay, so that's correct. If 2 lines intersect, then they intersect at exactly 1 point. Okay, can you give me a real life representation for this one? 2 lines that intersect, yes?
Cartesian plane.
Cartesian plane, okay, very mathematics si sir. Yung real life lang, sir, yung makikita mo sa real life lang.
Crossing, traffic light crossing.
Okay, traffic light crossing, antenna. Okay, so when we say intersect, they meet or cross. Okay, not necessarily divide, just meet or cross. Okay, let me clear the screen. Sorry, hindi ko na clear ang screen. Okay, let me clear the screen. I'll clear all drawings. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so let us try it another way. Okay, last one na po, and then I'll end my simulation. Let's try it another way. Let's have your drawing using my application. Okay, so wait lang po, nagahang siya ang laptop ko dito. Wait lang po. Okay, stop share. Okay, what I would like you to do is to draw the intersecting lines. Let's have it another one here. Share screen. Here. Nakikita niyo po ba ang screen ko?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
This is what we call a geometer sketchpad.
Okay,
Okay?
geometer.
So, what I would like you to do now is to make use of remote control. Remember remote control a while ago?
Yep.
Look for remote control. Okay, marami nang nag-request pala, hindi ko nakita. Okay, so you may now make use of my screen, pero isa-isa lang po. Okay, you may control my screen now, and can you draw two intersecting lines or a point, making use of the geometer sketchpad? Okay, marami ang nag-a-approve, so di ko alam kung sino ang mag-manipulate ngayon ng screen ko. So anyone?
Not yet approved.
Okay.
I approve some already. Si Ma'am Quaresma, I approve the... Okay, so meron nang gumagalaw ng screen ko. Okay, so sino po yan? Sino po yan ang nag-move ng screen?
Is it you, Drew?
No.
I guess. Ma'am Johnny, I guess it's me.
Okay, it's Ma'am
Forward
Tablante.
Violet.
Opo. Okay. So there is only one person po who can make use of my mouse right now. Okay, so,
It's
so
one at
yun
a
po.
time. Okay.
One at a time lang po. So you are actually using my mouse. You are manipulating my mouse at that time. So that would be for what we call it remote control. Okay, so let me proceed. Let me just end. Where is my presentation? Here. So here, we're done with our activity. We can do it by using Zoom, Zoom annotation, or we can make use of the Zoom remote control. Okay, so that would be all. Let me just finish. Okay, so the activity for the students. See, 12 o'clock na. Okay, so here you can work individually and then write all your answers. Preferably, I like my students to answer it handwritten and then written on a notebook so that when they submit it, even though they copied it from other persons, baka magkopyahan lang sila, once pag kinakopya naman nila, at least na-understand nila yung lesson. Okay? So they will just send me the picture of that. So ito yung i-answer nila for this lesson. Gagawa sila yung kaninang ginawa natin, wherein they explain geometry in real life. Marami. Say for example, bakit yung ngipin hindi triangle? Okay? Bakit yung mata natin, yung eyeballs natin are not square? Okay? So pwedeng gumawa sila and then explain nila. Okay? And then here, given this picture, cite representations for the following. So a point. Okay? So that would be all, ma'am. Thank you po. So that would be my online class simulation.
Thank you so much, Miss Johnny, for
Thank you, Miss.
insightful and interactive demo. We're all happy and lucky that we have this occasion where all of us will be filled with important information. Thank you again, Ma'am Johnny. Now we come at this point where questions will be answered and doubts will be clarified. We will now have the open forum. To minimize virtual noise, please be reminded again that if you have questions or suggestions, you may send them through the comment box in this platform. And those who are watching us through FB Live and YouTube Live, you may also type in your questions in the comment box and our speakers will answer them in this open forum. For the participants in this Zoom, should you wish to speak, please message the facilitator and that you wish to speak so that you can be recognized. Once your name is called, you may unmute your microphone and raise your question. Thank you. Okay, the open forum is now open.
Anyone?
I usually start, ma'am, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Doc Penelope, you are recognized.
Dr. Coliso from CSMST. I'm first and foremost, I would like to thank all of these speakers. But my only first question is, if in case the internet connectivity of your 40 students, presuming that there are only 21 students in, kasi mahina ang internet, with all your varying approach, like for example, kay Madam Amora, napakaganda. I only learned it here, ganda. How would you remedy in assessing the students' activities on the spot, Ma'am Mora, or any of the speakers may answer?
Hello po, ma'am. Actually, for our school, as far as I know, we are making use of online modular distance learning. So because of our students, the capability of our students. But I think most of those who are using Zoom are schools, private schools, like for example, Ateneo, they are making use of Zoom. But to remedy or to answer your question, how are we going to help those students who are unable to do this one? We can come up with a separate module, a separate module for our students who are not able to get online.
Okay,
So,
yung modular.
Opo. So that I think that would be the best way to do it, ma'am.
Hindi, Ma'am Amora, ang ibig ko sabihin yung nasa online na. Out of 46, 21 lang ang naka-in.
Yes, ma'am.
Doon mismo sa online. Pag hindi nila nakuha, so i-remedy uli yung modular.
Yes, ma'am. You make your modules as what you call it, same yung laman ng online ninyo. Kung paano ang online nyo, dapat ganun din sa module nyo po.
Okay, thank you. Were you using Prezi? Ang ganda ng presentation ni Mama Mora. Mama Mora, I'm so curious. You're using Prezi?
No po, it's just Microsoft PowerPoint.
Okay, thank you.
Opo.
Okay,
sige pa.
Can I answer also?
Yes, sir.
So, ma'am, for that case, the remedy is in our university we are also doing this mix. Flexible learning system. We are also utilizing a module. However, in that specific case, well, in my class, I will be requiring I will be uploading the copy of the PowerPoint and with the transcription of the discussion that I had. And so basically with the transcription, they're just going to read, and if there are questions, they can directly comment to the section where I uploaded the presentation and the transcription also.
Sir?
Yeah, that's all.
I'm just so particular sa online po, on the spot online. How will you do yung grouping activities, group dynamics? For example, 7 sila in that group.
Sino kayo order?
In my case, I'm teaching the technical writing, then they don't have that stable internet. So actually, the activities should be done not on the time that we are discussing the online. Like example, the pre-writing activity. So it basically they are going to just do that after the demos or the discussion. So that's it. That's how I will handle my class.
Thank you, sir.
Ma'am, can I also give my suggestion, for example?
Yes.
Sponsor Matthew.
Okay. In my case, ma'am, for example, if along the way when we are actually having our class and there are problems in the internet connection of few of my students, I would have to make sure, ma'am, that the entire lesson flow will be recorded, so that my students can just actually look into that. For example, nakat off yung isang estudyante during the middle of the class. She can actually, or he can just actually look into the video again or watch the video again, so that whatever output needed, the student can still submit the material or the needed output for that particular period in the class, ma'am.
Okay, well answered. Thank you, speakers.
Are there any more questions?
Yes, there is none, but many are giving positive comments, sir. Well, job well done, and great job to our three speakers.
Okay, so no more questions. No more in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, that ends our open forum, and thank you for those who participated. Moving on, let us now have Dr. Mario F. Alayon, President for CODTE 9, to present the Certificate of Appreciation to our online demonstrators. Sir?
Yes, sir. Engineer Regalado, thank you so much, sir. Dr. Rodi P. Garcia, our OIC Regional Director, Dr. Jacinta Tan, our Chief Education Specialist, Dr. Joanne Quaresma, our Teacher Education Program Supervisor, Dr. Abelardo Morok, the Education Program Supervisor for the Criminal Justice Education, Mr. Conrad Kilab, our Business Education Program Supervisor, to the CODTE officers, school heads, teacher education deans, faculty members from different higher education institutions, and those who are watching to our Facebook Live. Of course, our guest teachers, Mr. Herford Ray Gibang-Gibang, Mr. Matthew Sabusales, and Miss Jonic Zarina Amora. Panagdait na tong tanan, mayong udto. Good noon. Before reading to you our certificate, just a few words of gratitude since today is our last webinar of the 12 webinar series online. We culminate with an online demonstration with the intention of convincing each of us of the outcomes of the previous seminars that we have attended. We, the CODTE officers, warmly express our gratitude to the CHEDROC 9 community headed by Dr. Rodi P. Garcia and Dr. Jacinta Tan, with the close supervision of Dr. Joanne Quaresma, our education supervisor for teacher education. Likewise, we are thankful to our three model online teachers for their preparation, for the effort, and to show us the best possible way on how to deliver lessons using online modality. We learn how to deliver lessons online in language, science, and mathematics. I am quite sure we'll learn a lot from them. My special recognition also to our most active and participative online students like Dr. Alvarez, Dr. Colisao, Sir Andrew, and Dr. Quaresma. And also my special recognition, our participant from New York, Sir Ramil Buenaventura, because he was able to witness that what also is shared before was put to practice. At this point in time, we would like to present our simple token of appreciation. This is simple but valuable to our model online teachers. First, sir, can I read the citation? The Commission on Higher Education, Regional Office 9, Zamboanga Peninsula, and in partnership with the Council of Deans for Teacher Education in Region 9, hereby award this certificate of appreciation to Mr. Herford Ray Gibang for sharing his time and expertise during the culminating webinar of the CODTE series simulation via Zoom online conference, given this 19th day of August 2020 at Zamboanga City, Philippines. Signed by yours truly and Dr. Rodi P. Garcia, our regional director. Thank you so much, Sir Herford. And the same certificate of appreciation is presented to Sir Matthew T. Sabasales. And the same certificate of appreciation is presented to Ma'am Joni Zarina P. Amora. Thank you so much to our model online teachers. What you have presented will be put to practice as we will be closely monitored and supervised by our education program supervisor. We value it. We treasure it. Amping ug ampot la sa kanunay. Again, good noon and congratulations to all.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Daghang
Yes, sir.
salamat, Dr.
Thank you
Mario
po.
Thank you,
Olayon.
sir.
Gracias.
Daghang
Thank you,
salamat,
sir.
Dr. Mario. Before we will proceed to listening to the impressions of today's virtual event, let us first have the photo off. Okay, photo off. May I request everyone to please turn on their camera and give your best smile. Sir Sid Kua will facilitate us with this. Okay, may I request everyone to turn on all your camera and give your best smile. Sir Sid?
Okay, first smile. Okay, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, wait lang po. Okay, next po, second smile. Ready, 1, 2, 3, smile. Okay, last smile po. Ready, 1, 2, 3. Okay na po.
Thank you so
Sir.
much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sir Sid.
Thank you.
We're not yet through with our program, and to give us the impressions of this event rather, let us have with us one of our active online participants, Andrew, to give us his impressions.
Okay. Wait a minute. Okay, I'm just gonna read what I typed down here. Takeaway, there are available software or technologies that a teacher can utilize to teach science, English, and math lesson. You can use YouTube, the Pod, Geometers, Sketchpad, to name some. This ensures maximum student participation and maintain and increase interest or motivation. And it was great to have the demo lessons for each subject. If anything to change, depending on the time that we have for each lesson, let's say 45-minute lesson, we could have done that 45-minute lesson or 90-minute lesson, depending on what we are using in the classroom. That was it.
Thank you so much, Sir Andrew, for your impressions.
Yes.
Sir.
At this time,
Beautiful lesson.
let us now have our very own active environment, Chadro 9 OIC Regional Director, Dr. CODTE Garcia,
Hello mga men! Magmamamad!
to share to us the direction and expectation of the teacher education program in the region.
Sir Jay, while waiting, because they're looking for a good signal along the way, may we also request Dr. Annie for an impression while waiting for Dr. Garcia? Ma'am Annie?
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that. The three speakers or the three demonstrators were, I would say they were prepared. They prepared hard to make this simulation demonstration classes. They followed a certain structure, which I was really following through. And that structure, the structure in our classes and in our, whether it's in a classroom or whether it's in an online learning modality, we should all follow a certain structure where students are familiar with where you are at a certain point in time during your lesson. What just comes into my mind is, and this goes through all of the three presenters, is that we have to be very, aside from knowing, I'm not talking about the technical aspect of like muting, unmuting, or slow loading, things like that. Getting that aside, I think what we should really pay attention to is the choice of our video clips. The choice of our video clips is very, very important in terms of enhancing the learning of the students for a certain class hour. The video clips, most of the video clips in the internet are heavily loaded in terms of the cognitive aspect of content. So we should really choose short, but very relevant videos to support and complement our learning outcomes. This has to be chosen very, very well, because the YouTube, for example, has a lot of content that we can really choose from. But choose one that has low cognitive load so that students can really pinpoint the main idea of the video, so that in having that, it follows the students to be actively engaged with the topic, actively engaged with the content. And this is where some of your activities will come in. The activities are very, very crucial as well, because this complements the cognitive understanding of the content so that students learn better. And the fact that the presenters used collaborative learning, I am so happy with that. Collaborative learning, whether it is into threes or whether it is into twos or whether it is into tens, is something that everybody knows, that research can also say that it is one of the best avenue for students to understand more of the content as compared to understanding from the speaker or from the teacher. So collaboration and working together is key to active engagement, and also key to active learning. So active engagement, active involvement, and active learning. There are certain areas that I feel where the speaker number 3 had very, very good strengths. The lady who was talking about geometry. I am not a mathematician, and I'm not into mathematics. But like I told you, I am very strong in the humanities, and I always put the social sciences and the arts into mathematics. Our school is anchored on multiple intelligences. And the multiple intelligences is the one that drives our learning, that drives our presentation, so that the logic, the right brain, and the left brain, the logic of the left brain will complement the emotional and the other relationship aspects of the right brain. Thank you very much for the Council of Deans for choosing these three presenters. They are very brave, but I'm sure they're also experienced. You're also millennials, I think, because you are very, very well versed in the use of technology. I was a little bit overwhelmed by when you say, come into the Google Classroom. Oh my God, what is this? Come to the breakout room. Oh my God, what is this? I have to call my mathematics teacher, come here, because I said, I cannot handle this, you know. But thank you so much for the Council of Deans, and thank you very much for the presenters. Thank you, Ched, for hosting all this stuff, all this training for all of us to be successful in our online learning experience. More power to all of you, guys. More power. Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much,
ma'am.
Ma'am
Thank
Annie.
you.
Thank you, ma'am. Nice.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mama.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. My pleasure.
Thank you so much, Dr. Anicia Alvarez. So
Thank you.
while waiting for Dr. Rodi Garcia, let us first have a congratulatory message.
Hey, J, Takia
Yes
J.
po.
Doc Rod
Okay.
is in. Doc Rod
Doc
is in.
Rodi is already here to give us or share to us the direction and expectation of teacher education program in the region.
Doc Roddy.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. Wait for a while.
Dr. Roddy is at the moment in Labason, so they're looking for a good site for signal.
I have already my signal. I secured already signal here. Okay. Is this my time?
Yes, sir. Go. Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Good afternoon. Early this morning, I participated in your final or final activity for this 12 series of webinars for CODTE. I am here to inspire you, but you really inspiring individual. Looking at how you participated, looking at how you enjoy doing it, you inspire me a lot. So I don't need to inspire you because you are actually inspired doing what is expected of you in times of pandemic. We know for the fact that we cannot stop education. Education is the only key to progress. And so despite pandemic, I'm so glad that there are individuals like the president of CODTE, Dr. Mario Abayon, who is dedicated to lead this Council of Deans to a greater height. Despite the pandemic, you came up with a series of webinars to enhance the potential of our faculty in the field of teacher education, as well as to adapt the so-called culture of new normal. I'm just amazed that this this pandemic taught us so many things. You have actually demonstrated that you belong to the court, or you actually acquired the skills and knowledge required of you in the so-called fourth generation. So I am very confident that with what you are doing here under the leadership of our very dedicated and committed, a very intellectual young lady, Dr. Joanne Quaresma, for untiringly guided the Council of Deans in times of this pandemic. It's not easy for all of you to come up with a series. You are the first council to do this. And my salute to all of you. In particular, that you are the mother of all programs. You are showing us the way for other councils to more or less imitate or follow, or more or less use as basis for them to also enhance the potential of the different council of deans or our faculty in embracing the so-called new normal, the different strategies you have shown, the different methods or modalities that you have demonstrated. It's really commendable. I would like also to thank my partner in the Commission on Higher Education, Dr. Tan, Dr. Morok, and the entire technical staff and administrative staff. Look at me now. I just dropped by in one of the institutions just to catch up with you. Like what you are doing, it's really one way of not just helping ourselves, but helping the entire academic community. I hope that you can come up with more of this, as this is not actually the end of your series. I believe there will be another series that you will coming up, because education continues to evolve and evolving to define really the standard of our higher education institutions. Uh, in the part of the Commission on Higher Education, this is just, we want to emphasize that you already by this time identified the different modalities. Put your heart in it, whether it is online, offline, or blended. For offline modalities, we want that you continue to engage with your learners. Designed a curriculum as you presented, put your heart in it, as if you are talking to your learners every time they open their modules. See to it that in your absence, they can still feel your presence, as if they are attending regular classes. That's how probably we can engage ourselves. Open your communication with our learners, because even in our regular class, we find it sometimes difficult to let them understand the different concepts or let them demonstrate certain right skills. What more that they will be learning, or they will be learning directly right in their private place. So I believe that as educators, we always have the strategy, the ability, and the initiative how we can do it in order for us to achieve the desired purpose of your modalities or your syllabus. So with that, I would like to congratulate each one of you for finishing the series, the 12th series of this webinar for CODTE. Me as an educator, I can feel you. We have greater opportunity this time to help others. Despite of this pandemic, we can do something great, not only for ourselves, but for the entire academic community in your own institutions. So thank you, and once again, congratulations to all.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rodi Garcia.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rodi Garcia. We know that you are really busy taking the risk to travel just to determine the readiness of all of our HEIs in the region. Stay safe and God bless.
Thank you, Sir Rodi.
Before we will end this virtual occasion, let us have a congratulatory message from one of our speakers during the series of webinars. Let us all watch this.
Hello po. Hi from New York. Remember me? I am Ramil Buenaventura, and I'm just happy to be part of those people who have supported you to prepare you for this remote teaching. And ang dami nyo na pong na-attendahang seminars, webinars, and the challenge is to apply everything that you've learned. And I'm telling you, it's not going to be that easy. It's going to be stressful. But remember, we're doing this for our students, for our children, and dahil alam natin sila ang pag-asa ng ating bayan. And salamat sa lahat ng nag-organize na ito. May God bless you. Mabuhay kayo.
Thank you so much, Sir Ramil Buenaventura. Stay safe po.
Thank you, Sir Ramil.
Another congratulatory message will be given by Dr. Abelardo P. Morok, Chedron 9 OIC Senior Education Program Supervisor. Sir Lard.
Yes, Sir JB, thank you so much. Pleasant afternoon to each and everyone. To begin with, allow me to share this wisdom to our educators by Nelson Mandela. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Before I proceed, allow me to express my sincerest gratitude and heartfelt thanks to our devoted educators, deans, and faculty of the different higher education institutions in Region 9, our active executive officers and board of directors of the Council of Deans for teacher education programs, for your untiring participation and engagement on all the series of webinars from the start which you started last May up to today, August. That's something like 3 months. And for your unwavering commitment and untiring participation in all the webinar series. And not the least, to all presidents and academic officials and heads of the state universities and colleges and private higher education institutions. Thank you so much. All these webinars have been initiated and facilitated under the leadership of our active CODTE President, Dr. Mario Alayon. His Columban way of saying panagdait sa tanan, sir. And of course, my esteemed colleague here, Dr. Joan Corasma, the supervisor in charge for the teacher education program, again and again for her selfless and untiring engagement and support to all our educators in Region 9. And of course, allow me to give credit to our resource speakers and allow me to mention them one by one. Dr. Seni Su Hoisin of University Utara, Malaysia, Professor Ramil Buenaventura of New York, USA, Professor Lolita Victoria Pelizari of North Union High School, Newport, Vermont, USA, Dr. Lolina Bajin, West Pincom psychologist, Dr. Jaime G. Halon, the president of Zamora State College of Marine Sciences and Technology, Dr. Mario Alayon of San Columban, of course, at the same time the president with CODTE, Dr. Joseph Refugio of St. Vincent's College, Dr. Penelope Coliza of Zamora State College of Marine Sciences and Technology, and at the same time the vice president for CODTE. Dr. Narcisa Bureros of JRMSU, and the Board of Directors of the CODTE. Professor Miles Johan Amsid of Ateneo de Zamboanga University and with the BPI. Dr. Nueva Era Aranal of Ave Maria College. Dr. Jovelyn Cantina of Jose Rizal Memorial State University, main campus. Professor Jovito C. Anito Jr. of Jeremy Shung main campus. Director Michael Vincent Caceres of University de Zamboanga Research Division. Last but not the least of our simulation presenters or demonstration teachers we had recently, Professor Herford Ray Gibang of Jeremy Shung, sir. Professor Matthew Balasabas of St. Columban College, and Professor Johnny Zarina Amora of Samoga State College of Marine Sciences and Technology. And of course, special acknowledgement to Sir Andrew of New York City, sir. And lastly, our active participant, Dr. Annie Alvarez, ma'am, of Ferndale Colleges, Zamboanga Peninsula. To all of you, sirs and moms, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you so much for gracing all our endeavors with your generosity in sharing your experiences, expertise, and best practices in your respective fields and institutions, and for the trust you have given us. We owe you a lot for the best guidance that you have shared on what, when, where, and how to engage on the deliveries to our stakeholders, setting the direction towards a new flexible learning platforms and the approaches in improving our teaching strategies and management, and other essential instructional engagement for our educators. For without you, Chadro 9 and the institution have not gone this far. Again, to our dear educators and academicians, I could only say that your devotion to your profession is undoubtedly unparalleled as you are imbued with all the attributes and values. And I hope you still continue to explore, enhance your instructional approaches while enjoying your academic freedom despite of this pandemic situation. Your role, therefore, is very critical that surely impact our stakeholders, especially the students and the community as well. All those learning engagements and outputs from all the webinars are the product of 4S. I describe it as sacrifices, struggles, stress, and selflessness. That is because of your inherent responsibilities as advocates of education. All your efforts are anchored on the directions of CHED with the numerous regional memoranda which are office requested on formulation and preparation of your flexible learning approaches and deliveries, learning continuity plans of every institution, and the different modules which you sought for. And by then, we are assured and ready to start for the opening of our classes under the new normal. I believe this is not yet the end of the tunnel because we are still starting your journey as educators, and there are still challenges and obstacles along your way. But for as long as you never give up, I'm sure you could hurdle those with sense of pride and dignity because you are the teachers of all teachers, you are the professionals of all professionals, and this is your mission with a noble purpose. With my parting words as a reminder to our great educators here, allow me again to express the words of wisdom of John Dewey, and it goes like this. Education is a social process. Education is growth. Education is not a preparation for life. Education is life itself. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. Mayong udto sa atong tanan. Buenos dias otra vez.
Thank you so much, Sir Lord.
Thank you so much,
Very
Sir
nice.
Lard.
Now, another congratulatory message will be given to us by Dr. Hasintat R. Tan, our Chadra 9 OIC Chief Education Program Specialist.
Hi, good afternoon. Good afternoon to each and everyone. A special mention to Dr. Garcia, who is now out of town in Labason. Also, my greetings to Dr. Abelardo Morok, our OIC, SET, my colleagues, Dr. Joan Quaresma, Dr. JB, of course, to the President of this Council of Deans, Dr. Mario Alayon, other active officers and board members of this organization, faculty, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. I just want also to give special greetings to my mentors, my model, my idol, Dr. Annie Alvarez, our mentors, to include Dr. Garcia and Dr. Emilio Yanga. Buenos dias otra vez. Now, watching at this webinar for this morning, the culminating series of your online conferences and meetings inspire me so much that you have showed your manifestation that despite of our pandemic crisis, digital and virtual system or process has not widened the gap of meeting each other, but instead it brought closer to one another to discuss the needs of the teacher education programs among the teacher education institutions. Based on the entire 12 series of webinars, it is highly noted that there is the full support and interest among the members of the Council of Deans for Teacher Education. I would personally congratulate to all of you. I am grateful also to the ever active supervisor, Dr. Joan Quaresma, that she is able to bring closer and sustain the strength of this organization. I was also, the supervisor for this council for the last 15 years. And of course, I'm happy because you are now in good hands with Dr. Quaresma. So this coming month, as I can recall in our articles of incorporation, you will have again your general elections of officers. So I appeal to each one that for cooperations and closely coordinate among each other with this Council of Deans for Teacher Educations and support one another continuously for a good leadership. The CHED Regional Office, as well as the CHED Central Office, has developed a platform where you can visit anytime you wish to open for your needs. Always visit the website www.ched.gov.ph as well as our website in CHEDRO 9. And you can look the things that you would like to look into, especially the learning resources, the tools, modules, and any other forms of modalities for this during the flexi learning to include the learning continuity plan. Let us remember that the learning continuity plan is intended only for academic year 2020-2021. That's only good for 1 year. Because of the uncertainty, we have to wait what will happen beyond 2020-2021. As I have mentioned earlier, digital education should not widen the gap, but it has to bring closer the gap between the HEIs and their learners as well as other stakeholders. So let us strengthen the creation of a strong teamwork culture to foster a positive Council of Deans for Teacher Education. You can, and with that, you may be able to see and you may be able to feel the success of each one for everything what you are doing. So I believe everyone is on their toe to start our academic school year 2020-2021 during this new normal. With these actual demonstrations today, with the expertise of our three resource presenters, we have Dr. Herford Ray Gibang, Dr. Matthew T. Sabasales, and Dr. Johnny Amora my admirations, my congratulations, and so thankful for sharing your expertise to the entire members, to the entire community of the Council of Deans for Teacher Education. I'm so thankful that you are a very good partner with the Commission on Higher Education and to include a good partnership with the Council of Deans for Teacher Education. So with this, I would like to say muchísimas gracias, vaya con Dios, and hora buena to the Council of Deans for Teacher Education. Gracias.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tan, for being with us. Stay
Thank you, Ma'am
safe.
Tan.
Welcome.
We miss you here in Chadron 9, Ma'am Tan.
Yes, yes, yes.
To end this
Hopefully.
virtual meeting, may I now call on Dr. Mercedes Bejerado, Dean for Teacher Education Program of Universidad de Zamboanga, for the closing remarks.
Ma'am Divine. Only yes, si Ma'am. Is Ma'am Divine in our Zoom pa, Jay? May we hear it from Dr. Mario for our closing remarks? Doc Mar?
Hello, ma'am. Good noon.
Yes,
Good
sir.
afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Since Dr. Bejarano is maybe taking a break, in behalf of Dr. Bejarano, again, I would like to say uh, congratulations to all of us for taking your time. We know that we have spent these days for the past webinars, and now we also took your time for your lunch, but we find it valuable. We heard a lot from our officials, and we even heard from Sir Andrew. You are giving us an inspiration, and you are also one of the reasons why we come close to New York, because of knowing what is happening in New York through Sir Ramil Buenaventura. We are now at the close of this webinar, but it's according to Dr. Rodi, this is not the end. And according to Mama Senta Tan, we are into this new normal, where digital education is part of it. And remember, we are not educating for life, as it was quoted by Dr. Morok. It is our life now. Education is life, our life in this new normal. Again, thank you so much. Thank you for the patience. I appreciate your resilience. I appreciate your effort, your hard work, your support, your cooperation, and all those selfless uh, actions. Your generosity is counted, and God will reward you and will bless you with this. Thank you and good afternoon from the Council of Deans for Teacher Education in Region 9 and the Commission on Higher Education, whose community of brilliant and quality-oriented uh, minds are always with us. Thank you again. God bless. Amping ug ampo kita sa kanunay, di ba?
Yes, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Sige, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mario Alayon, President for CODTE 9. Now that we came this event to an end, we believe we will continue to serve and conduct more and more webinars in the future. We will not stop. We will rest for a while, and when the needs arise, We will be here again to be of service to all those who need us. Thank you so much. In behalf of Chadro 9 and CODTE 9, this is Jose Vicente Regalado, Education Program Specialist, your host saying muchísimas gracias y Dios te bendiga. Reminder po sa tanang mga participants, you may claim your e-certificates flash in this link. Thank you so much and have a great day.
Thank you, JB, for a very good host. Thank you, Mario.
Thank you, Ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Salamat,
Yeah,
ma'am. I miss you,
hi,
ma'am.
hello, yeah.
Good
Yeah.
How
Yeah,
I wish we could be
correct.
able to see each other
Yes, yes,
face to face.
we will. Okay.
Drew, thank you so much.
Si
Ma'am,
Andrew,
thank
okay.
you.
Joe, thank
Bye,
you.
Andrew. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am. Yay.
Okay, so done.
I meet Zamboanga. Love you. Bye-bye.
Okay,
I would
bye.
like
Sir
also to
Andrew.
say, ma'am, thank you to the technical staff behind CC, CJB for helping us with all the preparation for the presentation. This would have not been possible without them, no? In the PPE, the certificates, and all. So thank you, C, JB. Thank you so much.
Welcome po.
Okay, Lard, ¿qué tal?
Bueno lang siyempre.
Ya po dito, ma'am. Okay, okay, done. So, ya po your, Lard.
Kasi man reschedule sila na otro wala kay
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, ma'am. Salamat,
Good
ma'am.
host, good host. Okay.
Thank you so much, Ma'am Tan, for your
Okay,
support.
sige,
Thank you,
okay.
everybody, for all the deans who stay until the end. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you very much.